Okay, we're just gonna start rolling and it's what's up. Alright, there's the audio waves, it's doing stuff. And I immediately feel like I have to cough, thanks me. Why? Every time. Gotta yawn, gotta sneeze, gotta cough, what is it? I will take a sip of water. So this is What's Up, which may be slightly more sleepy time than usual?
Maybe?
I know. Well, Lucky just told me a second before we started rolling that he hadn't slept, so...
Nope.
But okay, we're here. With that out of the way, I don't know, we're only like 30 seconds in, but whatever. We can do the shout out to patrons.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming that these people are still all patrons and nothing has exploded. Because I had a little bit of trouble getting Let's Not FGO posted last night, because Patreon went down and then went into emergency maintenance for a little bit there at like midnight. Great job, guys. But okay. We are brought to you by our patrons like Adam DeHarp, Ahika Comics, Architect 10, Blacklist OG, Carlos, Quad, Jeremy Vasquez, Kylie Denton, Legendary Boss Hunter, Rogue Robin, Shawnee P, some guy named Bob, Soda-sun, 0424, 723, Video Gamer 75, and Zach Reed. If you like what we do and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon, access episodes early, and, you know, the whole blah, blah, blah.
The blah, blah.
Sorry. Cut that a little short because I was feeling the cough. Okay. All right. We're doing What's Up. I've got a couple of different things I want to talk about, and I think you got a couple of different things you want to talk about. Where do we want to jump on in?
You want to go through a list and see what pops up at us?
Okay, sure. Well, so last time we did the show, I talked about playing Doom, and I've beaten Doom now, so I can give kind of a complete throwback thought on that.
Yeah.
Did also get the Destroy All Humans remake. Liking it a lot. I can talk about that. You finished Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes, I did.
So you have also said you would talk about that.
I might need to put in a spoiler warning. Maybe.
Yeah. You said you had other stuff you wanted to talk about, and you also, just somewhere in there, are probably going to start talking about tabletop stuff or whatever, and talk too long about stuff. Oh, and I don't know, for the sake of prosperity, we maybe could mention the fact that there is a hurricane right now. It's probably not going to hit me, knock on wood, and it should be fine. It's only a Cat 1, guys. Relax. But yeah, what, any of those jump out at you?
No. What the fuck is this ad?
Who knows? Who knows what that
Sorry,
is?
right now, TennoCon is going on, which is the big Warframe convention. Warframe being the big free-to-play, space action shooter that has been going on for, what, like 6-7 years now?
Yeah. You talked about it before?
I've talked about it before. I said I haven't been playing it super much, but I am interested in it. So, I don't know, I was getting that loaded up in the background. I should probably get more into that, especially since, like, it might be going through a little bit of a game dearth here, eventually. But,
though actually, speaking of that, that does remind me, there's another thing that, it's not anything to comment about now, but next week we'll probably talk about it, because they announced that, Modern Warfare Campaign Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered will be coming to PS Plus this month, which is great for both of us. That's going to save us $20.
Hell yeah. Oh, is it up now? Well, I might have to go do that.
I don't know if it's up now.
It might be. I don't know. I'll
Usually they take a couple days. If it's up now, I can pop that in. I still got to beat Destroy All Humans, but I can queue it up.
Like I said, I thought it said that it wasn't going to be till the 3rd.
Usually they wait a couple days, but it is a weekend. I don't know. You never know with them.
Well, that is true. Call of Duty World War II, they did bring up like a fucking week early.
So, Sony has a very close relationship with Activision, it seems. So
yeah, as I said, like I love the Modern Warfare 1 campaign, so getting 2, I'm like, that sounds in my wheelhouse. Give me something to play on my PS4 for a while. And let me tell you, Lucky's gonna need that stress relief. Can Lucky bitch for a while?
Yeah, go for it. Go. You got something to get off your chest? Go crazy.
I got something to get off my chest. Okay. So, Lucky's not in a good way right now. He's already been stressed throughout the week, and things have come to a head. So, Lucky's gonna lay down some details about his real life. So, sit down for a minute.
I'm already sitting.
Oh. Well, then stand up. Now sit back down.
Okay.
Thank you.
Alright, the improv's done, Lucky. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So, so I'm pretty stressed. I'm super... Oh, and some... Hang on, I think someone's yelling at me. Pause, please.
Intermission! And we're back.
And we are back. Sorry, Lucky had to go do hard labor, so if he's breathing a little hard, don't mind him. He's just getting a little bit sweaty.
That's fine. We'll edit all of it out with the power of noise cancellation.
No.
We don't breathe. How dare you? He says as he's working
Anyway,
up towards another cough.
so there it is.
Yeah, I took an antihistamine while we were on our little intermission. Hopefully it'll kick in and dry up all my mucuses.
So, he wants to talk. He's super stressed. He's stressed to the point that he got no sleep last night, laid awake, in bed, all night. It was very, very bad. And had to go deal with something in the morning. And upon dealing with thing in the morning, which actually did not get resolved, instead it's going to get worse, he had to go, buy, $15 at Taco Bell and binge eat. Because it was, ugh. So, the issue is I live with my best friend, and his family. I live in their small house. They have a bedroom for me. I pay for rent. It's very, very nice. Very cozy. I think I've taken pictures of it. They let me do weird stuff. It's like I literally installed a fucking bookshelf behind the door. I'm like, this is where I'm gonna put all my anime shit. They're like, okay. It's all people. The place that I previously lived is a much bigger place. I think it has 8, 9 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms. It's a big place, and they generally rent out individual rooms to people at a very nice rate, if I might add. As of right now, it's just $5.50 a room, with all utilities included, and communal living space. But unfortunately, since the beginning of this year, 2 tenants in said house have been, how do you want to say, little shits, and flagrantly breaking the rules, disregarding everyone else's opinions, all that stuff. So with COVID going on and whatnot, evicting people out of a house is a little bit harder right now. So for a long time they weren't able to do it. So, but things have just gotten to the point where other renters do not feel safe. As I said, flagrantly breaking the rules and whatnot. And so we basically served them up, 30 days to get out. We tried to do it like nice people. We didn't try to force them out. It's like, hey, you got 30 days, please vacate the presence. Guess what? That 30 days, is up today, and they decided they're not leaving. Instead, they will fight with a legal battle. And it just so happens that these 2 people are part of the, let's see if I can get this right, LGBTQ community. And they're basically going after us, saying that we are just prejudiced against their community. And so they're getting the legal counsel from, their myriad resources that the community has. And I am sitting here, utterly flabbergasted. Also stressed out of my fucking mind. Let me tell you something. Lucky operates on 2 settings. Either I fight the problem, or I run away from the problem. And I said, I'm not in a situation where I can, neatly do either at this moment. Yeah. So they are basically getting all up into everyone's face, saying that, we can't do this, that's against the law and whatnot. We actually have, pretty good legal grounds to do this. The only problem is now that they've decided to fight my friend over this, instead of them being evicted now, it can turn into a 3 to 6 month legal battle.
Yep, no, that's usually how that goes.
During which point we still can't get rid of them, and they don't have to pay rent. Now, I'm not, like I said, I'm not directly related to this. As I said, it's my friend. But this is my friend who we go around everywhere. It's we have what we like to call the epic bromance. I've known this dude for 20 years, and I've lived with him for half that time, just hopping from place to place. We have done many things together, some things which will not be spoken of in polite company. We have that much of a bond. It's he's the kind of guy who's gonna call me at 2 a.m. and is like, hey, I need help. I'm gonna need help bearing a body. I'm just gonna fuck. As I get up out of bed and put on pants.
Well, shit.
Yeah, well, shit. So, there's, he's very stressed about this, super fucking stressed about it. He tries to play it off, but I know him. He's fucking stressed. And I'm gonna turn my AC.
That sounds like a good idea if you're hot.
It is.
Fire it up.
I'm gonna fire that up. But because he's stressed and, I care for this dude very, very much, Like, I'm stressed, and unfortunately, we're both not in very much positions where we can do anything about it. So I'm just like, I can't punch this problem, and I can't run away from this problem. What do? Cue writhing Lucky on the floor, just contorting. Maybe add some rye sounds into just like, I'm not gonna do it right now. I don't have the fucking energy. I don't have the spoons to re. But like, as I said, like, someone actually mentioned somewhere, sounds like people using their orientation. I'm like, why do we live in such a time where people decide to use the thing that people will prosecute them for as their first line of defense when it has nothing to do with the actual solution? Like I said, I will say, we believe, like I said, like, here's a crazy thing. They accuse us of prejudice. That's kind of funny because we actually have no idea what the fuck they are. We don't. We haven't asked. We just thought it'd be polite not to, yeah. Well, no, like, well, here's, like, access, they're being desperate too. Like, here's the thing. Like I said, they're not, like, I can understand where you're coming from, but they're not. They're just fucking assholes.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, like, Axe brought up being desperate. I mean, well, yeah, sure, maybe, but from what it sounded like, you were like, this was a long-term problem. They're not being desperate. They're just not being very good housemates, and now that they're being called on their housemate bad ship, they're being called on their assholery. They're doing a move that assholes of many stripes will do, which is they'll try to obfuscate the problem.
Yeah.
Because I'll say this: I've known you quite a while.
Mm.
Gosh, it's been like it's definitely been over 5 years. It's been a while, like 8 years.
It's been a while, my dude.
Lucky's pretty freewheeling. I don't want to say Lucky's not a person with hate in his heart, but prejudice isn't a thing I have ever experienced from you ever on anything.
No.
And you just said okay, how could we be prejudiced against them? We have no idea what categories they fall into. We haven't asked any questions, You've said that.
No, it's just like, we're just like, just do how you do. And
but
I'm
it's,
just like...
that is not, so I don't want to say this is like a problem that Lucky is laying specifically on the greater LGBTQ plus community.
No. It's just on these two guys who want to basically victimize themselves as a minority group or a repressed group to somehow cover up that they're just shitty fucking roommates.
Yeah, which is, in my experience, a standard tactic of shitty people. Is to just obfuscate. Oh, I don't have a problem, you have a problem. I don't need to change my behavior, it's you, fuck you. Now, hopefully, if you get before a judge that has a decent head on their shoulders...
No, that's the other thing that's stressing me out is... I live in motherfucking the Pacific Northwest, my dude.
I know, you live in a weird, wild place, but that still doesn't stop people from having common sense. It is shocking to see how some judges are when they hear a case and they go like, they ask you the question and they ask the other guy and you're like, no, we have our list of complaints, we have our list of clearly lined out rules, This is the thing, this is the clear statement. If you got the support and the stuff, then, that's, the case is the case, right?
Mm-hmm. But it's still one of those things that stress me out.
Oh, yeah, no.
Because it's still one of those things, like, I never know. That judge can be all like, well, clearly these people were prejudiced against you, because here's the thing. It's kind of hard to prove that you're not prejudiced. Like...
okay, but if you want to play that way, then it's hard to prove. Well, it is true, it's hard to prove a negative.
Yep.
But conversely, that means that if there's, you can't go the other way around, it's harder to prove the opposite.
Yeah, I know, but basically, if they're vocal enough and get enough support about it, a judge just might be like, And that's what's worrying me, is just that they'll just shenangle something, and the judge will just be like, this is a fucking headache. Oh, we have documentation. Like I said, this is what's stressing me out, because this is where what's the word? I'm running panic scenarios through my head. Fucking there's a term for it.
Yeah, I don't remember it, but I know it.
Yeah, there's a term for it where you just can't stop thinking about all the things that possibly could go wrong, and I'm in that state right now. Yeah, I'm basically always thinking of worst case scenarios. So I'm just
tactical paranoia.
Tactical paranoia. I'm just gonna use that from now on.
Hey, I am in a state. I know that one. That's a solid one.
No, y'all have made me fucking stressed. I've been stressed out all week from all sorts of shit.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely seem like you have taken a little side stress from the community, but you were already in a state of stress, I think.
Yeah.
Catastrophizing. That's a mouthful. I bet that's the word, but man, that's a little... We're us, though. I don't know if I can say that.
Catastrophizing. I don't fucking know. But I'm just like, why? I understand that maybe they didn't have another place to go or something.
Well,
or
yeah,
in the
like
process of moving. But it's like, fucking really, we literally gave you a month.
I don't know.
You guys
why.
haven't literally paid rent in like 5 months. This is like you spent your stimulus checks on partying and going out.
Ooh,
I'm just like,
that's not a good one. That's not gonna, especially in Seattle. That can't be a good look. I don't care what your orientation is. Didn't you guys be one of the first that had the whole big lockdownification?
Yeah, we did. But no, they're going out partying. People are coming over all the time without masks and without letting other people know. Like I said, they're smoking weed indoors. And let me say, it's not the fact that they're smoking weed. It's the fact that they're technically smoking weed indoors, and we have a lot of people who have respiratory problems currently living in the house. We've literally had people who had to go bunk with their significant others or like sleep in like other empty rooms. As I said, they have been taking food from other housemates, using other housemates' dishes, damaging them, claiming it wasn't on. They have this bad habit of leaving on a propane burner on for hours, unchecked and unsupervised. They leave food. They have left food in the oven for like 5 days. As I said, things have gone missing in that house. Things have been taken from the house without permission. It's a lot of little things, and as I said, the other tenants are.
It just sounds like fuck it. I'll make a value judgment. I haven't met these people at all, so I can make no comments based on their orientation, attitudes, or anything like that. I'm completely in the blind, just from the stuff you've told me about their physical actions, and I have no reason to doubt your sincerity.
Mm-hmm.
But those people sound like what we call assholes, internet. Where just they don't have a respect for other people, space, and things, and of course they would attempt to go in any direction and be like, oh, well, entitlement, I can do whatever I want, blah, 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 yay, whoa. I'm not an asshole, you're an asshole. And honestly, I mean, that's always a rough one to fight, but on the other hand, the way you describe it is, like, if you have the documentation and you have the... I would hope that there's no, like, weird intimidation or anything, that the other people involved in this scenario sound like they would be willing to verbally testify, even though eyewitnesses are useless.
The worst thing is the old white guy with a gun holstered went to talk to them, but one person said he felt intimidated by this. So who fucking knows? I would like to.
I mean, there can be some back and forth, but if you got a decent spread of the housemates and they can complain about this kind of stuff.
Oh no, we literally, I was saying to them, there is literally no one in that house who is their ally. No one.
Well, and that could easily explain why, they kind of turn externally, because the nature of assholes is to form asshole teams.
Mm.
I mean, like I said, I can see why, like, they just dug in, because, I was actually, because this was a popular meme thing a couple weeks ago. People were commenting on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Your basic needs include the safety needs and the physiological ones, like rest and safety. So, like, having a roof over your head is way down on the basic shit everybody needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
That can be a little freaky to deal with, not dealing with. But at the same time, it really sounds like these guys were just abusing the hospitality, and that's just not cool.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's one of humanity's fundamental no-nos. Like, there are very few things. Well, and legal is interesting. You can find a lot of different stuff going on, right?
Oh no, if we have to go to legal, we're just gonna make them pay for all the fucking shit if we can. Which they won't be able to because they're fucking broke because they spend their money on fucking weeds and going out with their friends.
Yeah, but judges, that's the thing about the way the legal system can get very squirrely with where the costs end up, and often you can end up not having to pay anything and actually be like, actually, no, you guys do actually owe us for all the rent and stuff and whatnot. Like, that's a big deal. If they haven't paid rent in a long time leading up to the potential eviction notice, that's like, that doesn't care anything about the prejudice. You're still not paying rent. Like,
yeah, but we also have a moratorium in our state that we can't evict people due to lack of rent set by our governor. So that's one of the things that they're leaning on also. That's true. I mean, that has been in effect for a while, but it still sounds like this was a pre-existing problem. Mm-hmm. And it's just come to a head. Oh man, and they were just so snippy. It's all like, well, you didn't serve us any legal papers back when you first entered us. You only gave us a verbal one, so it doesn't count. And we're just like, we're trying not to be dicks to you guys. But
I gotta be honest, these people sound like they don't. That's the soft hand doesn't seem to work on this.
No, it doesn't. And
I think they took that as just an excuse that they can weasel out of it.
Yeah, that's the way
Which
I feel. Like,
is unfortunately how some people are, right? Like, it's with some people, you want to be polite. You want to take a soft hand. Honestly, like, I would say this to the audience. Like, take this the wrong way. I'd say a soft hand is good for Lucky. Because if you get too confrontational with Lucky, he's going to get confrontational back, and then you're just going to be sassy at each other. But just a general, like, hey, how's it going? You doing okay? Could you do me a solid? Do the thing? That's just a little, good job there. A little soft reinforcement. Nobody gets pissed off. Nobody feels pressured to do anything. Just a little reminder. Other people, you just need a firm hand. Maybe access this discussion for a different time. But other people, you need to be like, no, I need you to do the thing. Otherwise, we're gonna have a problem. And like, just lay out clearly bounded rules. Because if you, Luff said it. He gave the analogy. Give an inch, took a mile. Like, if you give people too much leeway, they're like, oh, I can expand the space and I can expand my boundaries, and then they start overlapping other people's boundaries. And if you can't continue the asshole boundary chicken, then they're just gonna slurp up all the boundaries. I'm not really sure what the fuck they expect, though. Are they just gonna crash in this house forever for free?
No, I think they're gonna try and just weasel the way out of rent and get the fuck out of Dodge. Because if we win this legal battle, we basically gonna put a black mark on their records. Any background checks will fucking come up with, like, they had to get served an eviction notice.
Which would be great, because that would mean that their assholishness actually sticks with them and has consequences. Let's hope.
Let's hope. So, if Lucky seems a bit stressed or standoffish or just is not dealing with any of y'all sass, earlier, in our Let's Talk FGO chats, he's just under a lot of stress right now. It's like, he apologizes that he didn't stream the other day. He was just like, I can't right now. I'm just too done with everything right now. I'm going to lay down and read light novels. No,
that's okay. That's what I talk about. It's like you binge eating. It's just I don't do that. It's funny how we talk about this, how we have similar mindsets in ways. Like, I haven't had to deal with any of that kind of in-person stuff, but, I went through years of college. Before we set up the channel and started getting established to that, there was, concern about, like, job interviews, employment, that kind of stuff. None of which I ever got, by the way. I wasn't picked by both the library and the U.S. Postal Service. Those are my two
well, Lucky's been, like I said, Lucky's gotta be careful about venting. If it's too much, that's when he starts bringing out the machetes.
Yeah, like you gotta let it out. Like you were talking about. Oh, I don't have any way to deal with the stress. Like, when people, now that you can do a lot of stuff right now, still, but that's like, for other people, I think that's like when we go like running in the hills in the middle of the morning, or we go to the gym and attack the heavy bag. But we're also still in a really fucked up time where shit's really close together and it's not necessarily getting dealt with. Not that I want to focus too deep on the greater situation, but we're in a world where demon semen trended on Twitter for like 2 days.
What?
Oh, have you not heard about the demon semen lady?
No.
You probably
the last thing I've been kicking out is that DBZ is anime porn. That's what I've been kicking over recently.
Yeah, so you've been dealing with personal shit. You probably haven't caught this. So there was a weird conglomeration of shifty doctors who tried to recommend some drug for treating COVID that the president talked about earlier that the FDA has actually doubled down and been like, actually, no, we've tested it. It's definitely bad for you. It's not effective. It's not worth it. And they're like, no, we should do it. And their kind of poster lady who was leading this protest, she is a doctor who got her doctorate in Nigeria before moving to practice in, I think, Louisiana, somewhere in the South, where she also operates a church. Her clinic is right next to her church. This should possibly throw up warning bells already. But apparently, publicly, she has expressed the opinion that, among other things, that gynecological problems are the result of a woman having sex with demons in her dreams. It's a result of demon semen, Lucky. And the internet has just been having a real laugh up with that one for the past couple of days.
Like I said, the last thing I really saw on Twitter was fucking the Dragon Ball Z is anime porn on the internet matrix.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
That was a weird one.
Though there was a very funny bit where somebody, one car company, called for the they established they're announcing their e-bussy, which is it looks like a VW bus, but it's apparently electric. But somebody really should have thought about that name.
Oh yeah.
Twitter trends are usually a raging trash fire. Though for some reason, I don't know, maybe it's just because it's local to me, but I've been seeing, ever since sports started actually resuming, I've been seeing a fuck ton of sports stuff trends, sports games. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Right now what's happening for me is it's showing Warframe is actually trending. That's cool.
Yep.
Save SpongeBob anime's trending. Don't know what's going on there.
Oh, I know that one.
Some NBA games.
So, the Save SpongeBob anime is, there was a dude who basically made episode 1 of the SpongeBob anime and posted it on YouTube. But YouTube took it down, gave the dude a strike. He's up to 2 now. Because they basically said that it was child content and it wasn't appropriate for children, despite the video being clearly labeled not for children.
Well, I mean, I can see why, because if you're a kid who searches SpongeBob, you'll get it. Popular video, you'll still get it. That's not entirely YouTube's fault, because they have to. Literally, Big Daddy Congress got in on them and made them pay out some money for how they handled children's content and children's advertising. So, I can see why YouTube would have that problem. But yeah, that's a little sad. But shit's weird. Oh, actually, we should mention this. Lucky's old stream still can't be monetized yet. I haven't gotten a response back, but they did unblock it, so you can still watch the archive. We're just not getting monetized views right now. I expect we might not. Somehow I feel like Bandai Namco marketing is just going to sit on that complaint until the 30 days are up. I don't know. I've got a feeling. But yeah, so YouTube does stuff. We talked about this, I think. Was that on a pre-show? That might not have been on mic, about how apparently YouTube is, it's not a hot... Sorry, we've talked about how certain things... The way the people, the audience who partake in our YouTube channel talk about YouTube sometimes bothers me. Like, I'm not happy about YouTube's decision all the time. We struggled a lot to get all of our stuff through to YouTube, and a general lack of communication. But people are very snippy at YouTube for stuff, and I'm just like, can you not? Can you not, though? As otherwise, without YouTube, I would be bagging groceries at Publix right about now, except I probably wouldn't, because of the thing. So, yeah. But they did recently announce that they are apparently dropping community submissions for, like, subtitles and closed captions and stuff, because apparently, while entertaining for a very, very small amount of channels, most YouTube channels don't use it at all, and they have apparently gotten complaints from some people that they were getting, like, spam and bad faith entries. And they're planning on reintroducing new tools to improve on that. Though that'll probably just mean faster machine translation.
No, there'll be, well, I don't know, there might be some more uplifting things. Maybe.
Well, yeah, you're going to talk about Ghost of Tsushima, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I know. But here, this is uplifting. Watch this. This makes you laugh every time I watch it. Oh yeah, but Lucky, something I was going to mention earlier. You want to know what happens with Lucky Snaps? He puts machetes through bathroom doors. This is a true story. So a couple houses ago, I was still in Washington, but I was in North Tacoma, not South Tacoma. My room was right next to the bathroom door. And someone knocked on my door, and I was all like, "Yeah, what's up?" And there was no response. They knocked again. I spoke up a little bit there. "Hey, what's up?" No response.
I'm already getting annoyed about this, and I'm just hearing about it.
Someone beat on my fucking door. So I got up, threw open the door, and was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh man, I was just looking for a bathroom. You didn't have to get fucking pissy with me. What the fuck, man?" And started complaining to his friends when he about how fucking aggressive I fucking was as he went into the bathroom. So I literally reached over, grabbed my machete, and with a mighty swing, put it through the bathroom door. It was literally just one of those, it's one of those thin ones.
Good old plywood.
And he screamed, and I started yelling.
I'll bet. That's one of those classics. In the words of Jack Burton from Big Trouble in Little China, that's when your mouth's writing checks, your ass can't cash.
Yeah. And
big man grabs you behind your neck, scruff your neck, and asks,
"Why are you so angry?" And then I started going off on everybody, and then everyone left me alone.
Have you paid your dues? Check is in the mail. Big Trouble in Little China.
I was just going off on beating on my goddamn door, not listening to me. Didn't have the fucking gall to tell me off. when you're not even at the right goddamn room and mouth off to me. I was so mad.
No, and I would be a little bothered in that same situation. That's definitely one of those things where, like, we talked about hard versus soft responses. That's the kind of thing that's like, okay, if you're going to be a smartass, we're gonna have an altercation, for lack of a better word. It's not necessarily going to be violent, but we're gonna have a conversation right the fuck now. What?
But yeah, that was definitely one of my moments of fight or flight. I'm gonna fucking fight.
Clonk.
I don't know if we ever replaced that door.
To this day, the door remains.
Well, because, like, as I said, like, it was a clean cut, so it was just, like, when I pulled it out, it was just a sliver in there, just...
Well, Devil's brought this up. That's one of those classic things. If people ask you why you are angry, or people tell you to calm down, that is I have never met a normal, functional person who has heard either of those things and not immediately doubled down.
No, that is super true. Oh, man.
Calm down. No, I'm perfectly calm.
It's like, no.
What are you mad about? Everything.
But just, like, it's things like this which has made me, like, start adopting my policy of, like, I'm just not going to interact with fucking people. Just, people as a whole, you just ain't worth it. One of you is going to do something dumb, and I'm probably going to kill you and go to jail, and then I'm going to miss all my anime and game releases. I'm going to be really mad about that.
Oh. That would be so. Yeah, I don't know.
So
you got to be careful. That's definitely a thing about mental health and personal living. Is you have to filter you have to filter the people in your life.
You know,
and sometimes we cannot filter, which is when people get stressed.
Here's the thing, Devilish. You can't always walk away. Sometimes you got to nut up or you got to shut up. But there's always the two choices. It's like. Lucky is totally in the mindset of sometimes you just have to beat down a motherfucker. Like, violence isn't always the answer, but sometimes it can be the only answer. As I said, this is very...
There's no good... Darn you, Gift Search. I'm trying to look for fucking Lord of Among Us being like, just walk away. Just walk away. I can't find it, though. Have this Mad Max GIF instead.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to say we can live in a perfect world where you don't need violence to solve your problems and all that stuff, but sometimes there is a physical confrontation. That is the nature of things and people. And, you know, it's not okay to start an unwarranted fight, but that's honestly, that's why there's lots of qualifiers and qualifications in the... No, you haven't missed anything.
No, Lucky's just bitching about his life.
Lots of qualifications and qualifiers in the legal system when it comes to those sorts of things. Like, we have very clearly defined legal backgrounds to, like, handle, like, oh, well, you were clearly, you know, goaded into something, and there are, like, tests about reasonableness of response. That's right. Even to our legal system, sometimes it is considered to the court and the people that your violent response, while maybe still wrong, was justifiable, because we cannot say that a reasonable person would not do the same in those circumstances.
Well, look at what we say. He is not one to start fights, but he is more than willing to finish them.
Dun 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 dun. Wait. Sorry, I can't. I should probably hum like a Halo theme, but that's hard.
No, the best revenge is not living well, because they could be living well as well, and that infuriates me.
The best revenge living well is it's one of those complex things that really depends on what kind of living well we're doing. Like, if you're gonna leave somebody behind in the dirt and go on to live a happy life, that's sure. But at the same time, like,
if I walk away and they continue to get away with shit, be an asshole, and no one reprimands them, no.
Yeah, that's not really that's the thing. But sometimes revenge is a dish best served cold. An old Klingon proverb. I realized that we talk about this, like, some people mentioned gacha stuff. That wasn't even our list of possible topics, though we said that yesterday in Let's Talk, that we would probably talk about gacha game stuff, which we will.
We'll probably talk about it. We will. As I said, Lucky's done really venting on that. I just wanted to bring it up because he's just...
No, it's good.
He's getting done with people. He really is.
And that's a good thing to get out there for community stuff, for what's up, right? Talk about what's going on with us right now. Like, letting people know, hey, I'm in a high-stress time. It's kind of frustrating. It's really annoying. And I gotta be... Well, we don't ever get any comments on what's up anyway, but I was just gonna say, I, Omega, will not look kindly if anybody's like, I can't believe Lucky put a machete through a door. Like, that sounds a little sassy, guys. You don't have to be sassy. This gosh darn Sphinx is stealing my NP levels. Please stop that. Sorry, I'm doing last minute FGO farming.
Actually, I hear that you can melt bodies in barrels of lye. Interestingly enough.
You can? That's a whole thing, though. Caustics.
Yeah, caustics.
Caustics are probably more thorough than fire or ice.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you can't just... There's a joke about liquid nitrogen. You can't just acquire liquid nitrogen. It's not free. It's kind of a pain in the ass to handle, and most places don't just let you take it out. You gotta have it for a purpose. It's one of the. It's one of those things that you just can't do stuff about. Just fuck around with it.
That was in Breaking Bad? I didn't know that. I've never watched
I bet it wasn't Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad's got all kinds of stuff in there. I learned my stuff by being a criminal justice major.
I learned my stuff by having very scary friends.
And for instance,
hey, look, did you know that you can get rid of a body just by putting it in a barrel full of lye? No, and I don't know if this knowledge will ever be useful, but thank you.
I also know how to make meth, because they got to teach you what to look for if you're looking for meth. Also, by the way, as a reminder, I don't think I've said it lately, but also, don't do meth. It's really gross for you. The ingredients involve shit like battery acid and stuff. It's literally awful. Don't do it. Don't do drugs, kids.
See, don't worry. You don't have to worry too much about Lucky committing crimes, unless Lucky can figure out a 100% foolproof way to get away with it. Then y'all gotta worry out. As soon as I figure out that fucking foolproof plan, like legitimately, utterly foolproof, then he can commit crime. He has not figured one out yet.
That's the beautiful thing about crime prevention is that literally most people, according to criminological theory, would do that if they could actually get 100% of the way out of it. That's why, when discussing criminology and crime prevention, you want to build a system where nobody can be 100% get away with it, because despite all this socialization and social construction, humans are still generally selfish animals and will totally do something that's maybe socially or even legally unacceptable to further themselves, so long as they can get away with it, and usually when they're not directly hurting somebody. It does actually take some gumption to straight up premeditated, maliciously affect somebody.
Fucking love talk about fucking Last Origin. Look at that big titty.
Yeah, he's been working on seeing if it's playable or not and relating some details. If I remember correctly, they used to have a functioning English patch, but they recently, the Korean developers did some updates, I think.
Well, it looks like they got one that's slightly better. Love, are you playing that on your phone, by the way? I might have to look into that. I don't know. I'm still playing Destiny's Child. So
we have a new member of the community who really, really likes the Summer Raiko emote and have been using it a lot, but they're not quite using it super repetitively yet. So I'm not ready to get agita about it. Also, yeah, no, it's a little bit. Be cautious about posting Last Origin pictures. Partial translation, he says.
Yeah, no. As we said, Last Origin is like we thought Azure Lane was horny on main. No, it was Destiny's Child. But we thought Destiny's Child was horny on main. No, but they're close. No, clearly the true horny on main is Last Origin, where they show the nips.
Honestly, all of these games are actually horny. It's just a question of their marketing and dealing with other things, you know.
But, yeah, so I guess we can talk about gacha, I guess.
Yeah, we can use it as a pivot.
Actually, I have a question. Here's the thing is, did we start saying horny on main because someone said that in Discord? Did that come from out of Discord and we brought it in?
I'm pretty sure I heard horny on main as a general internet phrase before.
Like I saw it in the Discord, out of the Discord. Okay, it was out of the Discord. Okay.
Yeah, it was I believe it's even in Skype. I picked it up from Twitter. I've always felt it was a Twitter thing where like you're admitting that you're on your main account and you're being horny, like you're retweeting and liking horny stuff. Yeah, Twitter stuff.
I've never actually knew what it meant. I just know, like, am I horny on main? Yes. You don't even know what it fully means. It involves the word being horny, so yes. As I look at my gratuitous amounts of Japanese anime porn just appearing on my timeline.
Timelines are dangerous. But
So,
okay,
gotcha.
we can talk about gacha stuff.
So, let's see here. Azure Lane, I have no idea what the fuck's going on. I really don't.
They're gonna release HMS Perseus. I'm interested, but Azure Lane is definitely taking a backseat. I should probably get back into it though, because I don't think I actually said this, but I did complete Monarch finally. Holy shit, those catch up XP things are great.
Yeah.
And now I have I'm not 100% sure what to do next, so I opened up Rune. I don't know if I should be, like, working on newer priority or do my backlog in the catch-up. I'm not sure if there's, like, a strat there.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a very decent spread of Ironblood, so I figured I'd just pop open Rune, and worst comes to worst, I'll just feed her more catch-up EXPs, because I think those only work for PR1, don't they?
Yes, I believe so.
So, there's might as well. People will let me know. It's taken a little bit of a backseat, but if they have a new event, I can pop in. I've been distracted by lots of other stuff. There are phases where I don't do anything but play phone games, and then there's phases where I don't do anything but play lots of console games. So right now I'm on my TV, and I'm using my phone to like play YouTube and stuff a lot. But that'll probably cycle up a little when the new FGO event starts anyway, so then we'll probably get some more multi-gacha drifting action. Azure Lane, check. I have no news on Girls Frontline.
Same.
Oh, though, apparently, I saw some people tweeting about it. Sunborn had at some kind of, well, it looked like a convention, which is a little interesting, but I suppose they are China word, which is a little, Asia has a little more under control. But apparently they're showing off, they have a playable game demo for Girls Frontline 2. So apparently they are planning on doing the complete app rebuild thing. And which I would say, at first I was like, oh, I wouldn't go to a sequel, but then I was like, oh, actually, no, depending on what they do, I might actually prefer that. Like, I haven't spent a whole shitload of money on the regular Girls Frontline. If they make a new game that has better improvements that I like and stuff, that might actually be okay, depending on how they do that. It'll be interesting to see, anyway.
Nah, Lucky probably won't try to make the jump. Probably not.
I could see that. That's fair. You're not really super into it, but you're keeping on because you put some time in it, but if they jump to a new game, that would probably kill it for you. That's fair.
Yeah.
I just was saying that I had that conversation with myself. So we should probably then talk about Arknights.
Yeah.
Because people won't stop asking me about my neon rolls.
Yeah. Well, no one's asked me, but I haven't been talking to anybody.
Correct, because of the thing that we started the show with.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, sorry. I'm switching my last-minute FGO farming. I gotta look at the guide again. So it distracted me. But, yeah, so Arknights' new event, this is the quote-unquote half anniversary. Is it actually been half a year since Arknights came out?
I don't fucking know. What is time and space?
I don't know anymore. People are already saying that we're gonna get, like, the next batch of we're on speed mode, so we're gonna get the next batch of new shit on, like in October or something. Like, we're gonna get, the next limited unit W early. I'm just like, what? Huh? What? Please. That doesn't make any sense. It is actually, okay, cool. So it is actually in the appropriate time frame. That's nice. So Neon is our first limited unit, which are pretty rare, and they've got some different systems they've done. And hopefully they do the retroactive spark thing again, and you get credit, because, man, I've done, like, the equivalent of 5 or 6 10 pulls, and I don't have a Neon. I don't even have AC. I did get a 6-star, which I believe blew my pity rate in my first, probably, 20 pulls. That was Magellan, again. I now have a P2 Magellan. And I haven't gotten a 6-star since, so I'm hoping the pity rate's gonna kick in soon, game. I keep feeding it headhunting permits, and they keep giving them to me. And I'm almost at another 10 pull, because, once again, Arknights is super generous with the stuff, especially because they're doing a red envelope type thing. But yeah, no, I'm a little on tilt. I'm a little shocked. This is them getting me back for getting read really easily. Lucky, how you doing on Arknights?
So, I didn't have that much, Oh shit, we're doing Girls, Grand Blue Fantasy's doing free summer rolls? Oh shit. Hang on, I gotta log into that. But, I didn't have, like, a super much saved up. I think I only had, like I had enough for 110 roll, and then I got the free headhunting permit. I got Jack. No, I take that back. I didn't get Jack. I got a fucking hung.
I have so many hungs. There was somebody posted a meme image, which was the, oh my god, I can't believe it's all hung. That's me right now.
Yeah, no. So, yeah, I got 3 of them. But Lucky was like, I haven't been spending that much money. I'll splurge a little bit. So I bought me the special $29.99 pack. I used my Google points to get a coupon. Applied that shit. I was like, bam, yeah. So I got a little bit off. I got a 6-star. I was super excited. It was great. It was Ifrit. And I'm just like,
the fuck.
You ever have that just, like, I'm laying in bed and I just literally have this sinking feeling just go, like, my body just went cold. My fucking stomach turned into a rock. My arms became heavy.
That's usually what happens to me when gacha rolling goes poorly.
And what immediately happened after that was hot fire. Hot fire.
You spit hot fire.
Spit hot fire. So I blew through that. I blew through that. I blew through what I had. I blew through the 29. I picked up another coupon. I can only get $8 off because they don't let you fucking stop. And I was like, boom. What was it, like $49.99? Give me the fucking thing. I got the fucking neon. I was like, yay! And then I'm all like, and then I had I had the reality check of like, wait, why did I want her? And then I realized I'm a fuck. And then I remember I'm an idiot and I just like limited things.
You do like to collect.
I do like to collect. I was like, God fucking damn it, Lucky.
But it gave you joy.
Yeah, it gave me joy. Like I've already got her. She's E1. I'm definitely not getting her to E fucking 2 anytime soon. She needs like. Well,
it's a huge pain in the ass. Slightly before the new event started, I was like, oh yeah, I should work on some evil, and I've been like, let me get some guys better. Maybe I can work on Exia. And then I'm like, oh fuck, I need double chips again. Fuck me. Oh, I need to like look at a guide. I haven't quite yet figured out a trick to get the quest for Archer's Casters to 3-star.
Mm-hmm.
One of those little fuckboy drones always slips through, so I need to like look at a guide and double check my strategy. But goddamn. God. Oh, but talk about fuckboy. Man, wow, these I'm only like done with like half the maps because wow, the little neon event maps are a thing. Some of them aren't even that hard, but they got some tricks of the trade in there. Very sassy maps.
Oh, it's a 4-star.
Luckily you don't even have to, I don't think you even have to do them. As far as I can tell, they are just bonus maps you can do for stuff. They do give you prime coins, which I should do more of, and I should do the challenge modes on because I do maybe want enough prime to get that Liskarm skin because it's pretty sweet, and I do use Lisk a lot.
I think I'd be happy with the Jessica skin, but I've been looking at the Chen skin. I'm just like,
the Chen skin's very powerful. I still don't have a Chen, so I can be like, no, don't buy that, you idiot. The power of not having things.
I saw a neural skin at some point. I'm just
that's brand new in CN, I think. That's a future thing they're doing.
Okay. I will be saving for that.
Yeah, that's a spicy one. Somebody post that again. This is a good one. They got some good stuff.
But I did get Minion, as I said, and my Ifrit, I think she's P4 right now. She's P3, P4. I got a lot of Fire Daughter. All right, I love her.
Everybody seems like they have their 6-star, which is like their thing. For me, it's Apple Pie.
Oh man, let's see. For me, I think it's Apple Pie and Ifrit. I think I have actually like except for a few. Like, I know my Hoshi's got multiple potential. My Hoshi's got multiple potential. My Silver Edge got multiple potential. My Exercise has multiple potential. My Ifrit has multiple potential.
Yeah, casual summer neural is like it's a completely different look, but it's great.
I do like that it's actually been confirmed that is her fucking tail.
Yeah.
Like, when you first see it, it's like, is that all her hair or is that her tail? And you're just like,
no,
not
big
sure.
Fluffy tail.
Big fluffy tail.
Speaking of fluffy tails, that's apparently a theme.
Yeah, because then another one is fucking Province. I'm like, this is
also
also dangerous. What's she gonna
do with those crabs, though? She's got several crabs attacking her, it looks like.
I like the one that looks like it's about to fucking latch onto her tail. Just like, come at me. Crab battle! So... I have Neon and stuff. I haven't logged. I should probably log in.
I have logged in today. I'm not yet done fighting this fight, especially because I don't know what comes after other than limited units down the future. So like, we hit Reed, who is a dragon, and we're gonna hit Nyan, who is a dragon. After that, I'm in a deep dark zone of not knowing what's next and not caring.
Oh, that's why I've been seeing her on Twitter. Nelia gets a new summer skin. Okay.
Who? What now?
Grand Blue Fantasy character. Short stack with big horns.
Oh yeah, I've seen her too. Okay, so she got a new design, new summer skin. Okay, that figures out. That tracks. Internet. What am I looking for? Looking for quick. Actually, you know what? No, this is a node where I need to use assassins. I'm going to give up on it for the purposes of summer.
Oh well, that's what I meant. Usually summer hecking. They do have some summers, but usually they get whole new skins. Why did I get a fucking Shiva summon? Get out of here! Oh, I got a super rare. Who is this? I got the Knights of the Round. It's Lancelot and Vayne. Oh no. I got Summer Boys. This is something I like about... Wait, Grand Blue Treasure Rift. What is this? That's something I do like about Grand Blue Fantasy. They have no qualms about just sticking two people together. It's like, you a thing now. Go.
Be interesting.
Choose wisely. Okay. Wait, how does this work? I'm clicking boxes.
Well, like you spoken right now, we'll continue working
But,
on geofarming, though I might go to Arknights after this, because I don't...
Oh, what's this? Special chance? Special chance! Okay.
I think I'm pretty good. Alright. We'll call it a fiber in FGO.
Cool. I've had 520 different weapons. Let me check my rewards. I don't play Grand Blue Fantasy a lot because I don't want to think about doing in-game tier shit. I'm just like, meh.
Different people have different power.
Oh, Jesus, they gave me fucking 10,000 crystals. What the fuck? What the actual fuck?
I don't know what that means. But
Okay.
It's good.
Just for... Oh, Jesus, I just checked all my stuff. I just got 22k crystals. So, for context, hang on one second here. Let me double check this rate. Let me check the premium draw here. Yeah. I just got 22k crystals. The amount to do a fucking 10 pool is 3k. Yeah. So I was just like, just the fact that it just gave me that, like, just gave me 10k for opening up a box. I'm just like, shit.
Lucky got the lucky.
Lucky got the lucky. Again, I don't play super much of the Grand Blue Fantasy.
Grand Blue seems like they're super generous on the front end because they do a lot of free pulls and they had they're famous for the sparking system, you know.
Oh yeah, and
stuff like that.
During anniversary and stuff, you literally get they literally have a roulette wheel that's like, yeah, you get this many free spins every day.
But from what I understand is, like you said, you don't play it very seriously. The actual, like, back-end mechanics and the higher-level shit you do with those units is a little more complex and finicky.
Yeah.
It's an interesting system. Different game designs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, okay. Lucky, have you done any of the what is it called? Ancient Foundry?
No, I haven't. Like,
okay. I'm gonna warn you. They're very sassy.
When I first got in there, I was like, I got Neon. I'm gonna actually try to, I'm gonna be fucking sassy.
Well, there is welfare. There's Ancient Forge, yeah.
Oh yeah, shit, I do forgot that there is the welfare.
Snow.
I am a little sad that I didn't get Ack because honestly, like, I wanted to keep all my fluffies together with Hung.
Ack is very interesting too.
Hung, Ack, and that fucking tiger girl.
Oh, waifu. I still don't have.
Yeah, waifu. I was like, I just want to put you all together, and you can be Team Fluffs, Orange Fluff.
Oh yeah, Bagpipe's coming. She seems cool. I don't know when that's gonna be though. Ack is a team killer, yes. He's got I think Warfarin don't have her either, but I think Warfarin does something similar where she can trade trade her or trade others' HP for other stuff. Ack is definitely that guy. He will shoot you with his magic gun and increase your damage, but also you're gonna fucking die.
Yeah, Warfarin has that. It's I think it's her second skill. Unstable. Oh, I remember the name. It's Unstable Plasma. I keep looking at it and like.
But yeah, no. Ack can do some similar shenanigans. So there's lots of memes about the Ack. But I don't have that one either. Sorry.
Lucky pairs Popikar with the Doctor because Popikar is precious and I adore her.
Oh, actually, I should. I'll warn you, Lucky, too, since you were playing the game sooner than me. One of these maps, which I think I did beat it, but I didn't get a 3-star in it. But one of these Ancient Foundry maps, Ancient Forge, does involve the return of the man, the myth, the legend, Big Bob.
Oh, when am I going to get my Big Bob operator?
I don't know when, but that was because I started playing the game like after that first event had started. I never got that far in those maps to actually face him, so I got to challenge myself against him. And boy, he's a large lad, especially when they put him through the bleeding tile where your attack goes up or your HP constantly goes down.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a fun one. It's a fun move.
Bob has the HP to spare.
Yes, he's a big boy.
He's the chungus. Actually, let me open up Arknights.
Oh, and well, I think I said this before. I did get Texas a while ago, so now I am doing the Texas-Lapland pair in my trading posts.
I don't do that. Actually, believe it or not, like, I have fun because I like to put, Yato and Nor Carne together. I ship them. I don't know why, but I fucking ship them.
Oh, cool. Well, I have multiple trading posts, so.
And, I put them in the factory. For a trading post, though, I always put Silver Ash, Matterhorn, and Courier, because they're all fucking from the same company.
Oh, yeah. And that's one of my squads.
And then I have XSI, Texas, and Saria. Not Saria, fucking Croissant. I don't know why I said Saria. Croissant.
You're thinking of Sora. But yeah. Sora doesn't have a trading post ability.
No.
She's a dorm ability. And honestly, I thought about putting them together. But I usually put Bison as the third one in that team, because yeah, that'll be a while before we can go to E2 on Texas, guys. Because she doesn't directly have synergy with them. The basic version of her talent only procs if she's got Lapland in there, I believe. So I'm not opposed to that later, but that's definitely a way future me thing. Like I said, I'm currently struggling to get. I've got all the other stuff except those goddamn chip packs for Exia. So we'll work on some stuff. That is a very funny GIF, Loft. Where does he get these wonderful toys?
I don't know. He probably looked it up on Giphy or something. I mean, I like to have weird GIFs. I mean, that one.
That's not really that weird. What are
I have this one.
That's not a GIF. I'm gonna post that one. That's when you out. That's a good one. Like you just posted the Citizen one where you're just pulling random shit out.
I'm just pulling. Oh, here's one of my favorite Arknight ones.
Which one is? Oh. Yeah, I don't remember that's originally fun, but that is pretty funny.
Like, I don't know. Like, I like having my team Lungmen together.
Yeah, well, I would love to, but I cannot assemble all teams. Though I do actually, since I do actually have Texas now. I do have all of Penguin Logistics now. At least.
Oh, nice.
I think I got some furniture out of it too. I actually did get my bonus furniture. I have a lot of fun gifts also, and you can steal them.
Here's my favorite Skellyman one.
I was thought about posting that earlier. I love that Skellyman one. Just,
just dramatic zoom on a skeleton. That's all it is, and it's amazing. A gun.
There's some really good dumb Fire Emblem GIF edits. Like, I'm a fan of the one. I don't think I have it handy, but I'm the fan of the one from 7 with Hector, where it's just like they just like try and stab him, and he just drops his fucking axe and walks over and punches them. It's a great one. Who's posting?
I don't actually use this one. I just keep it saved because I like it.
It's a good one. Steel Tome. That's pretty funny. Any other fun favorites? I'll just scroll randomly and see if I see something fun. Oh, well, I have one that I also appreciate that it's Arknights focused. Just let that motherfucker die. It's Bee Hunter punching the shit out of Mephisto, by the way, until he explodes and dies. And dies and explodes. Now, we see that one a lot, Tyranno King. Alright, okay, we're at about an hour.
Okay.
And I think we spent about 30 of that meandering about gacha. So that's probably okay. Ooh, that's some Schwartz I'm gonna retweet. Since I just happened to tab over to the Twitters. The tweeters. But yeah, we can talk about other stuff. So I think we would talk about games things.
Alright, so I kind of want to talk about Ghost of Tsushima, but unfortunately, what I want to talk about is basically Act 3, which is the ending. And because I beat the game, I platted it. I was emotionally distraught. So I don't know, Omega. Do I dance around it, or do I give the warning and dare ye enter?
Yeah, probably just sorry. Took a deep breath there. Yeah, I would say probably just the way What's Up is just, give a warning and say, okay, we're doing the thing.
Alright. Well, we're gonna do the fucking thing. I'm gonna talk about the ending of Ghost of Tsushima. Because Ghost of Tsushima is still doing super fucking well in reviews. Not everyone. Some people think it's fucking dumb, but those people are just wrong.
Yeah, it's doing so well that it is once again out of stock on Amazon. I have missed my chance to buy it physically again, so we'll keep checking back on that. I am interested in the game personally. It's just the opportunity to buy it physically hasn't come up, and I'm not sure whether or not I'll do. I might suck it up and buy it digitally too. But I've also bought a lot of games digitally recently, and I'm gonna be sick in a lot of space. So then you got to juggle all your shit. And I have a terabyte, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a whole thing. But anyway, Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima. So Act 1 and 2, you're definitely it's going in steps. Like I said, you start off, like I mentioned this last time, you start off a noble samurai, and you slowly become the ghost. And Act 3 is you have become the ghost and all the ramifications of it. Now, here's something I found I learned about the game through reading news articles and stuff. Apparently, in game, your playstyle affects the weather. The more you use ghost abilities, the more likely it is to be rainy and storming in the game. Which is basically signify it's like you are taking a darker, cloudier path.
Oh, interesting.
It's interesting, as I said. Yeah. And as I said, the game is very nice. Like right from the beginning, you get a a fluty. I forget what it's called.
I could probably look up the name, but let's not right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fucking shakuhachi. You get a shakuhachi, and you get a free fucking song that just turns the day into sunlight. You just start with that, so you can just be all like, "I'm sick of this rain. Let there be sun," and you're like,
Very.
You can play it while riding your horse. You can play it while walking around. It's great. So the weather thing is not necessarily something that's gonna a game breaker, but it's something interesting. Because I'll tell you, all throughout Act 3, it was nothing but snow, ice, and gray and dreary as fuck. Because Lucky was very good at stabbing people in the back. But the way Act 3 starts out fucking slayed me. So, at the end of Act 2, you have literally poisoned the Mongol hordes. And now they are, like, dying. But your uncle, Lord Shimura, is all like, "You can't do this. This is not samurai. We must arrest you." Well, originally he wanted Lord Sakai to blame Yuna, the chivalrous thief who's been helping you this entire time. But Jin's like, "I ain't doing that life, yo." So Jin gets arrested. But guess what? Fucking Khotan Khan's still out there. And he's doing fucked up shit. And you're like, "No, the time is..." And you're like, "No, the time is for action has come." So you break out. And you escape on your horse. Your horse, which you named. And has been your best fucking friend this entire fucking journey.
Oh,
the
God,
only one
no.
that truly understands you.
No, don't Shadow of the Colossus me.
No, they totally fucking Shadow of the Colossus you.
Oh, animals.
Oh, they do.
Savage animals. If you don't get that, well, one, you should go play Shadow of the Colossus, but also don't worry about it. Don't worry about it if you don't get it.
Well, I'm gonna explain in detail. So you make your escape, but they start shooting arrows at you. Your horse takes like several arrows for you, but literally does not give up and like carries you like half across the fucking realm before he collapses. And I'm just all like, "No!" And I named mine Kage because I picked the black horse. And I was like, "No!" Ah! I was done. And it was great because Jin's upset by this too. He's like, "No, my friend, you did so well." And you fucking actually bury your horse. And it becomes a fucking waymark, and it says "A Loyal Friend's Grave." And I was like, "No! Ah!" Lucky's just rolling on the bed, just not. When they killed the fucking, in Act 2, at the end of Act 2, they kill, Taka, which is Yuna's brother, who's like this young idealistic boy who makes you a sweet-ass grappling hook. And, I was upset about that, but I hate to say it, but me losing my horse made me feel way more worse.
No, obviously.
As I said,
it's one of those tragedy and statistic and all that stuff. Okay, yeah, a character who blah blah blah, really innocent, whatever. Okay, that hurts, but that was just a guy. The horse is always with you, your friend.
No, as I said, when you complete missions, you are usually seen doing things with your horse. You are leaning up against them while your horse is like, "Yeah, this is life." Or my favorite one is literally the horse will be laying down sleeping, and you'll be sleeping up against the horse. And as long as you don't touch the controller, the both of you will just fucking keep sleeping. Or if you look like you're brooding, your horse will just come up and give you a fucking nudge. Be like, "Hey, what you doing?" You're just like, "Yeah, get away from me, horse." He's like, "No." And I'm just thinking about it, throughout all this journey, this horse has been the only one who hasn't, pile dogged you about the shit that's going on. It's just been like, "Nah, we cool, bro. We cool." And they took him away from me, and I'm just like, "No!" The game, supports, you just being able to pick up any horse, and they immediately give you another one, but it was just that moment of, I can't fucking handle this right now. It's my horse literally saved my fucking ass, and he's dead. I'm gonna build him a grave. Oh, also, fun fact, you can't, one of the little interesting mechanics, that the game has is you can do a small bow to things, and in certain areas, if you do the bow, the little special effects, if you bow at the your loyal friend's grave, a whirlwind of cinders will surround you and fly away. Basically, if you just do it at certain places like shrines, graves, or little signs that have the little bow symbol, it's actually a trophy. I think if you do it at 10 of these hidden spots, it happens. It's a nice little touch. But from there, you're motherfucking Lord Sakai. You have no weapons. No shit, and you have to sneak through this town to try and find Yunya. The sneaking does not go well. You get shot with fucking poison arrows. Poison arrows that you basically taught to the Mongols, and you're just all like, well, this is bad now.
Yeah.
So now you're basically like, yeah, no, we have to fucking fix this. Now, as I said, like, throughout all this, you've gathered your allies, and you start really realizes that all these characters are basically reflections upon, Lord Sakai and Jin. We have someone who's obsessed with, getting revenge for their family. You have another one who doesn't know, like, if they're doing the right thing or how they should be doing it. You have someone who's, like, trying to right a wrong, but is it really the wrong? You don't know. These tales are very interesting. Let me tell you, most of these, they don't end happily. They really don't. This game is not a game about happy endings. It's really not. The one that ended the best was, the sensei ones. The archer sensei, I can't remember his name. Because, Ishikawa, thank you. Because, spoiler, the whole fucking premise of that is he's hunting down a student that, quote unquote, betrayed him. But you get to the end and you realize maybe things weren't quite as black and white as they seemed. And both, like, both Jin and Ishikawa sensei both kind of realized that. And they let Tomoe escape because she's basically said that she is basically this bow prodigy, but like at the end, she basically says, I'm giving up the bow. I am no longer this person. As she flees forward, like the mainland. Yeah, she also had a cool fox mask, but it was broken. Another one, Lady Masako. Literally, you're hunting down. Her family was murdered, like back at the beginning of the game, and you spent like 3 acts trying to figure out who done it, who did it. Turns out it was her fucking sister, because her sister hated her. Because while Lady Masako thought that she was helping her sister, she was actually, like, basically dooming her to a horrible, horrible life, and Lady Masako never knew. So, it's like, Nordio made me sad. Jesus. Nordio was a warrior monk who basically who's, trying to do the right thing, but finds it harder and harder to do the right thing when people keep making dumb decisions and no one wants to step up and do what needs to be done. This ends with him literally burning down a camp and burning people alive. And when, like, Jin is all like, what are you doing? Norio's just like, it's what that ghost would have done. And Jin has literally no response to that. So, Kenji was a cool guy. Kenji was comic relief. Kenji was a guy who wanted to do good for a lot of things, but he's ultimately a swindler and a con man, so usually his ideas involve a harebrained screams that usually ends up him, like, getting captured or having to deal with weird stats and you having to kill a bunch of dudes so they don't kill him. Oh man, I can't remember her name. I cannot remember her name. Fucking Jin's caretaker. That was another stab. How dare? How fucking dare? Literally his caretaker, after teaching him how to make the cruelest fucking poisons. Literally a poison that will make you vomit blood from your orifices, and another one that will, like, turn you into a mad beast. Like, basically devolves into dementia, can't, like, distinguish you from your father, and you find out that your caretaker might have had a secret thing for your father, and she felt super guilty about it, but she wanted to, like, do right by you and your family, and it's been slowly going on. I'm just all like, oh no. Also interesting, apparently, Lady Masako was probably a lesbian. Like, I found that actually interesting. One of the people that you run into was actually one of her old lovers. One of the few people who got away, by the way. It's like, I feel like I could talk that there's probably themes here, but, like, I took it in all so quickly, and I'm just all like, I am a whirlwind of emotions right now that I don't know if I can necessarily parse them out.
Mm-hmm. Not.
Yeah, but it's like, as I said, it's all good. It's like, there's all themes of revenge and darkness, and are you doing the right thing, or is the right thing what needs to be done? It's like, oh god, and it's like all throughout this. So, and this is the interesting thing, because while Kotan Khan, I think, is a great villain, he's very charismatic, very ruthless, and, it's like, he's a big man, but he's also kind of imposing in that I'm actually a fucking villain, way. But, and so it's like, a lot, like, in Act 3, you basically don't see him, because he's basically hiding in a village as he's about to make his fucking escape. But you learn that there's going to be a big storm coming, and they won't be able to leave. I said,
"Oh, a storm's coming."
Yeah. But unfortunately, the fight did not actually end up at us at sea while lightning raged around us and the fucking ships was rocking to and fro, slowly being destroyed. No, the fight took place in the harbor, but you do get on Kotankon's ship. Things start fucking burning down. I kill him. It was, I don't want to say it was anticlimactic. It was an intense fight. It was a lot of dudes. There was a lot of parrying. Like a lot of people died, but it wasn't climactic in the sense that you thought it would be. No, this is what shocked me. The climax came after that, wherein after everything is done, you get a letter from your uncle, Lord Shimura, who asks you to meet him at your old training ground. And you go there, and he tells you that the Shogun has declared you an outlaw, and your head must be delivered. Jin's like, I did what I had to, and I do not regret this, and I'll do it again. I guess this is my punishment for it. And Lord Shimura, who is fucking crying, goes, no, this is my punishment. And then you both take a moment, you separate, you put your swords down, and you both write a haiku. You write your fucking death poem.
Yeah, you do.
And it's one of the most beautiful, vivid scenes you see. It's just oh no, well actually I sold this short a little bit. You actually meet up with him, and then you walk around.
Don't interrupt the story, X.
You walk around and you talk about things that have been done, what's happening, and all that stuff. And you get the sense that Jin still really fucking respects his uncle still, and wants to make up with him. And Lord Shimura, for his part, really doesn't want to do what he has to do. But you get to this, and you have to fight your fucking uncle. Literally, the man who has raised you at, all this time, ever since your father died. And, even though you're fucking, you became on opposite sides for the most part, and your hour of need still came to help you. And you're just I don't want to fucking do this. And Sakai's I don't want to fucking do this. But eventually you beat him, and you have to make a choice, because Lord Shimura says, please, give me a warrior's death. And I'm just all you literally get the choices. Do you spare him? Or do you honor him? Or do you spare him? And I'm I can't kill this man. I can't. I'm the motherfucking ghost. I have no honor anymore. Me killing you won't give you that warrior's death. It will give you a fucking political upheaval in the fucking area that might not be able to quell for shit, especially with all this shit's going on. It's no, as I said, I might not have no honor, but I cannot kill my family. And then at that moment, you just stand back, slowly put on your ghost mask, and just walk the fuck away. Fucking credits roll, and I'm just all why did you make me do this? Yeah, well, you just still killed your fucking uncle. You just killed your fucking uncle.
Hey, sometimes people gotta die. No, that's super interesting.
What is honor to a man who has none?
It's a very interesting question. You may not have honor, but does he have honor? Who knows? It's an interesting question. Like I said, I'm gonna be really interested to play on this game and kind of work out. God damn it, Axe! Stop that! Stop it! God, stop with the obsession. The story is about honor. Stories are stories. Fuck. History's not even history. Sorry.
It's one of the lines they lad. It's it's all you have thrown away everything that we have taught you, and Jen's just and you are too stuck in your ways that you would let everyone die. What happens when you choose to spare him? Basically, Lord Sakai is just all they will never stop hunting you. It's they'll always be after you, and he's just and Jen's just I know. Lord Shimura doesn't try and off himself. But like I said, people can disagree with me, but it's just yes, I am a man who basically thrown away everything that the samurai stand for in favor of protecting the people. The shogun only fears me now because people have realized that not the shogun and the samurai will not always fucking protect them. That's no fault of mine. That's the fault of them, and they're being stuck in their ways. So I definitely didn't want to exacerbate the situation by killing Lord Shimura, who is my uncle and who I care for deeply. And even as I was fighting him, like, nah, to send some other fucking dude, some patsy who might not have the fucking love of the people and whatnot. Well, the lack of unit in the end. Well, you gotta remember one of the trophy titles would have been was Mono no Aware, which is basically the transience of all things.
Yeah, by the way, that's a really big Japanese concept.
Yeah.
Mono no Aware.
Everything passes, everything goes. It's like goes hand in hand with wabi sabi.
Like that's why you spontaneously compose your death poem, right? Like it's a thing. It's a whole thingus.
Mm-hmm. It's like
controlled
nothing
spontaneity.
like nothing is forever. Things are transient. Like what is here today may be gone tomorrow, and you never know what in life may cause it. Like I said, like it's two of the like wabi sabi and Mono no Aware are one of the two of the those big Japanese weeb things I actually really subscribe to. It was just like, yeah, no, like I'm not gonna live forever. No one's gonna live forever. My friendships won't last forever. Whatever I'm into won't last forever. Everything will come and go. So everything will come and go as it will. So I must appreciate it in the moment. And if that makes me sad or depressed a little bit, that is beautiful in its own way, because that means that it meant whatever that was meant something to me.
Deep thoughts with Lucky.
Mm-hmm. And Wabi Sabi encompasses those same things of just it is okay for things to be imperfect. I can't explain Wabi Sabi as well as I can Mono no Aware. But Wabi Sabi is just, finding beauty in imperfect, being fine with not everything with not imperfection, stuff like that, settling.
Yeah. And there's that very famous Japanese art style. It's kin something, I can't remember, because kin is like
it's the fucking gold, fixing things with gold.
But yeah, when you repair pottery, you repair it with
gold flecking.
A mortar made of gold flecking, so you can literally emphasize the cracks to show that the thing was flawed, but now it is repaired and it is more beautiful for it.
Mm-hmm.
Which actually, we talk about how themes and stuff, and honestly, it's how would these people understand this sort of stuff without this kind of science? But like, for instance, talking about like real life touchstones and mechanics, that's how your bones work, by the way. Not that I've ever broken a bone, but if you break a bone and it heals correctly, the connection is newer, so it's stronger. Which is, I think, unique to bones, because unlike what TV shows tell you, flesh wounds muscle damage that never quite heals. But yeah, it's interesting to hear that stuff.
So again, I highly recommend Ghost of Tsushima to everybody.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get in there. It's gonna be good because apparently because my immediate thought would be to talk about L5R. Supposedly the next L5R book that I really need to come out to go back to working on my campaign will be in August, so I'll probably have to wait till like September to get the PDF. But it'll be coming out, and I'm sure if I actually play Ghost of Tsushima, that'll put me right on the right track to kind of get into those themes, because that's a big deal of like Axe has talked about how the honor thing isn't quite historically right, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's true, but it's still thematically right. L5R has a lot of that, right, where it takes aspects from multiple periods of Japanese history and translates them into a fantastical setting with magic and shit.
I think we talked about this last week. So what? It's cool and it captures our heart.
Right, but that's what I said earlier. Like the story has themes. It's not history. It's a story with themes, and it's well, you didn't phrase it like that. Anyway. But that's kind of what L5R is about, and there's a big deal of that conflict. That is literally a character conflict built into your system. Like with Star Wars and even with Genesis, right? You got your like motivations that can kind of conflict and contrast and stuff like that. And Star Wars characters have like obligations, morality, duty, all that stuff. We've talked about this before, and my how L5R create a character video is very popular, shockingly, on this channel. But your character literally has a conflict, which I've done a video on also, between your giri, your duty, and your ninjo, your human desire, because samurai are not beep boop honor robots. It's a big deal, actually, that you aren't. That is literally baked into your character, that you have something you want to do, you want to accomplish as a human being, and then what is your lord, your feudal superiors task you to do, right? And these things are often at odds. And technically the game has like the whole weird spirally stuff, and you can randomly pick who gets conflicted what. You guys know me from running years of Star Wars. I don't usually bother with that random shit, just because that isn't needed if you're running the game on a really tight level. But that's very much an interesting conflict you can have. And honestly, if you wanted to play, not that I know too much about it, but if you wanted to play a ghost-like character, that whole do we get shit done or are we honorable is a big deal for the Scorpion clan in L5R. Right. That is literally their hat, is that they're the guys who are like, okay, we're samurai, but if we need to get some shit done for the Emperor, we'll do some shit.
Oh, yeah, no. Also, actually, I'm pretty sure that the game Ghost of Tsushima takes place over, like, almost a year. I'm pretty sure you start in the summer and you end in the winter.
Well, that's a good one. Because that's another big deal about Japanese culture, is seasonal themes and, like, seasonal things.
Basically...
a very important question. Can you play Hanafuda / Koi Koi in Ghost of Tsushima?
No, you can't.
Wasted opportunity.
Yeah, wasted opportunity.
Though, again, that's the thing talking about. That has, like, monthly sets and monthly themes, right?
So, well, yeah, like, because I'm pretty sure you start in the summer, and everything is rich and vibrant and stuff, like in Act 1, in the most bottom of the part of the island. Things are bright, sunny, there are dragonflies flying about, you can hear insects.
It's going to be super fucking hot and you'll die.
But then you go up to the next area, and thinking about it, yeah, there's, like, autumn leaves and stuff. The fucking, like, there's a lot of reds and golds around. Stuff, but then you get to the third act and it's just fucking snow everywhere.
Yeah.
Except for the part where they burnt down the fucking forest. And it's just a fucking blackened cinder. I will, shout out to giving me random opportunities to save people so I didn't feel like I was a fucking murder machine all the goddamn time.
Solid.
It could have been part of the island climate, but I think they were actually trying to signify changing of the seasons.
No, that's probably, like, if you had started when it was bright and warm, and then you, especially with the 3-act structure, if you start with the climate, and then you start in summer, and then you move to autumn, and then you move to winter, right? That's the 3-act structure, and then the whole point of the game is that spring never comes. Boom.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, there we go, right there. But that sounds very thematic, and that is a very Japanese thing, because Japan is one of those temperate climates where, like, they're really fucking hot in the summer, but in a lot of places, it will actually, honest to God, snow. Though, snow is a sign that it's not actually that cold. In super cold places, it doesn't snow at all. That's why the Antarctic is a desert. But anyway, that's a climate fact for you. But they have that big, swingy climate.
Speaking of that, though, fun fact, Japan loves the game. Matter of fact, the director for Yakuza, I cannot remember his name, loves the game. And he's a little bit jealous because he said, this is a game that should have been made in Japan. Like, we should have been the ones to put, like, this much effort and work.
Oh yeah, I heard that vagueness that there's some Japanese developers who are kind of. I mean, it's fair because Hideo Kojima made a game all about America, and now Sucker Punch has made a game all about
the comparison that people have making has been making Dark Souls with medieval fantasy.
That's another one. I think thematically, I like the comparison to Death Stranding better, but that's also a decent one. But at the same time, we've talked about this too. That's almost like a GenSekai theme, right? Like,
yeah.
The Japanese have always been aping Western fantasy in their own way for a long time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's another really interesting comparison.
Think about it. We never really had, like, an actual, like, a Japanese-ish game done by a Western company. Not on this scale. I don't think.
Not outright, yeah. I don't think so.
Also, yes, rip Ubisoft for saying an Assassin's Creed game in Japan would be too hard. I think they literally said that.
Ubisoft has not that I don't like a lot of their games, but Ubisoft has a bad habit of shooting themselves in the foot. They need to shut the fuck up more.
Actually, let me see here.
I still think Watch Dogs Legion looks super cool, and we're gonna make armies of grannies. Anyway, that's a question for a different time. Yeah, like I said, Ubisoft has a bad habit of opening their big fat mouths, but Yves Guilbeault is cool. But yeah, so no, like you said, other than like. I'm sure For Honor was totally done by American dudes with huge beards.
Yeah.
That included Japanese themes and characters. Oof. Especially since, hold on, didn't they? Was this before or after they made the Egypt game?
This was back in 2014. So
okay, I think that's before Origins.
Oh yeah, it is.
Okay, so that guy just didn't understand his audience. I understand World War II would probably be a little bit boring for an Assassin's Creed game. Like, you could do some, like, French Resistance themes, but also that would be weird. I feel like going too modern with Assassin's Creed is weird, but I've never actually played those games, so I don't know.
Oh, the previous line before that is they said that it's overdone.
Well, admittedly, that was 6 years ago, but still, yeah. Well, it'll be 8 years ago now. Gosh, I don't know what he's thinking, though. Like, is he comparing it to other Japanese games? Especially because, let's see, Sekiro, super successful.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Nioh and Nioh 2, or Nioh 2 were both pretty well received.
I believe Nioh is on the PS4's greatest hits, I believe.
Yeah, it sounds about right. When was the last time they actually made Ninja Gaiden, though?
Ninja Gaiden... I don't know, actually... Wait, didn't fucking Ninja Theory, the same people who made fucking... No, yeah, the same people who made fucking Ninja Gaiden made Nioh. If I remember right. Wasn't it Ninja Theory? Yeah. I remember those big old titties.
Sorry, I'm posting something in the FGO channel, but an artist I follow, Sadava, who's a big Nightingale fan, but got out of
I'm reading
FGO
it right
game.
now.
Yeah. They have a little bit of a freak out about the Empire of Dirt release, because Nightingale is one of the characters.
I like this line, I'm willing to paint someone else's life. Like, that's dangerous.
The deep dark Moon Runes art. It's a funny one. But there's and now they just they just know that they're gonna look like they're fucking copycats if they try to pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll try next gen. I don't even know what the fuck what is Assassin's Creed even doing? Did they announce it? Yeah, it's for Valhalla. They're doing Vikings.
Valhalla.
How is Vikings not? Not that I'm not gonna say that it's a bad theme, but how is Vikings, especially after the new God of War came out and was super popular? You're definitely not jumping on that bandwagon, Ubisoft. But how is that not more cliche and overused and anachronistic than Japanese shit? I mean, that's true. There are a lot of very distinct periods to Japanese history, right?
Oh yeah, you got the Genpei War, you got the Meiji era, you got the Sengoku era.
Lots of very interesting periods. You could do lots of different stuff.
Fuck. Even the Showa era back in World War One. I can't remember. No, Showa was World War II. What was before Showa? Fuck. I can't remember. Did it start with a T?
Possibly.
Taisho.
Sure.
Yeah, like fucking Sakura Wars takes place in the Taisho.
That is also
era.
sold out, by the way. Azure Lane is sold out. Can't buy Crosswave. Not that I'm super needing to do that, but like, man, there's a lot of stuff.
So clearly, games that feature Japan are great, and people want them. This is what Lucky has learned.
Do you have any other thoughts about Ghost of Tsushima? Because my comment about L5R there was like, no, this sounds like it'll be good. I'll get a new book and I'll get this game and I'll get in there. And
I got another 10. I got another 10 permit. Do I want to roll for fucking act right now? I'll roll for another act. I'm gonna roll. Here we go. Actually, you guys want to see me roll?
Oh yeah, you can stream. Why don't you do that for the guys watching the live stream? Because I think it's time to take a quick intermission. You can show them and talk about it on the episode after. So I'm gonna pause. Yeah. Lucky's rolling. Sorry,
it's P Hunter. Funny, we were talking about you earlier, girl.
Oh yeah.
Welcome. You and Feeder can duke it out. Oh shit, is this gonna keep going? Oh, I guess I only got a 4-star at best. Son of a bitch. Oh well.
Rip.
I don't know how I got it to do it. It just did it. Got Meteor. Getting a lot of 4 stars at least.
The power of hiding.
3-star. Midnight. Get out of here, you sexy fuck. Get the ends.
We're just doing this quite casually. The power of editing.
Oh god, no, don't give me lavas. I'm sick of lavas. You guys don't understand.
There's a lot of lava. All the time with recruitment. I think that's a feature.
Why has no one made the floor is lava joke and just put a fucking fuck ton of lavas on the ground as the doctor stands on a chair or something?
If you haven't, somebody please do that meme edit. Do it now. Touch the cow. Do it now.
Myrtle.
I'm hoping to get some rainbow sparks. There was somebody posted a GIF of the FGO rainbow spark, but on a loop, so it never actually resolves. It just fades in and out. I'm just like, ooh.
Listen to this girl. She's precious.
I can't listen to this girl. I'm not playing the audio. I'm gonna retweet that though. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What we got? Well, so we were talking about this while we were in intermission. I think Lucky is about done with Ghost of Tsushima talk. And I don't want to get into wild L5R speculation again yet. Not until I'm ready to start writing that game. We'll have to figure out scheduling for that if we gotta do that, because I got a lot of different people. Like, I know Lucky's interested, but I also got some other people interested, and I want to work out some scheduling to get all the people I know who are into it in, because, you know, I want to be nice to them. I could take a bigger group, though. But I need to actually finish writing my campaign, so there's that. But,
fuck it, I'm gonna roll again.
L5R is definitely a game that plays to a lot of those themes, like that Lucky talked about with, like, the storytelling. That is also mostly originally written by Americans.
Oh, I'm gonna get a 5-star at least.
But it's still pretty cool. Well, good on you.
It's gonna be hung.
Is it all hungs? Somebody post that, by the way. I don't know where that is, but can somebody dig that up for me? The, oh my god, it's all hung. Anybody? Somebody post that image for me? But
well,
yeah,
stop stealing my fucking ID!
So I gotta pick. You know what? Fuck it, I'll ask Lucky. Should I talk about Doom first or Destroy Humans?
You beat Doom, right?
Yep.
Yeah, talk about that.
Okay, so, in fact, I beat Doom. I beat it not too long after the stream. I think it was early the next day. Yeah, it was, because I got Destroy All Humans Wednesday, and that same Wednesday, Lucky was like, I literally can't even right now. Do you want to stream Thursday? And I was like, okay, I'll see what happens Thursday. So I sat out Destroy All Humans, and then Wednesday I finished up the game. I was already pretty far. I just had a couple of levels left, and I just beat it. I hope you enjoyed checking out that stream. There will probably not be more streams, because I'm done with it. I like Doom a lot. I will say, I did feel kind of short. Like, I'm interested in buying Doom Eternal, but it's still full price. I
was right. It's fucking hung. Sorry.
It is all hung. But it's still full price, and I would want to, like, the first Doom was a little short, and I played a little bit of the multiplayer even, and that was fun, but it's still a little short. I don't know if I want to go, if Eternal's not, like, significantly longer, I don't know if I want to go full $60 just yet. We might see how that
4 stars, though.
Might see how that plays out.
Literally only got 1 3-star in this pool.
There it is. Thank you, Thank you for that, Architect. Oops, all hungs. Salty from your tears.
Alright, well, now I'm out, so now I must begin the process of saving again.
But, yeah, so I played it. I like it a lot. It's a lot of fun. Like I said last time we talked about it, it's got a lot of that great classic FPS throwback, right?
Oh, yeah.
No need to sprint because your default speed is sprinting, though, gosh, I slipped off a lot of surfaces. I think the number one thing that killed me was bottomless pits. Just there we go.
The one thing that Doomslayer cannot fully defeat, gravity.
Yeah, I can't fly. I can only double jump. But it was pretty fun, and there's some bonus stuff I could go back and do. I don't know how much I feel about completionism, but it was fun. There were definitely some like weapon traits or upgrades that I just stopped using or never used at all. Some I didn't even bother getting, because I missed some drones probably. I'm wondering if maybe they'll fix some stuff up. I've heard that they dropped the pistol entirely for Doom Eternal. And just go, the shotgun is your first weapon. Which I could see, that sounds like okay. I still used a little bit of the pistol, though, but it was good as an emergency weapon. They had kind of the nice, tight gameplay loops. I liked it a lot. A lot of good themes. Music and visual design and stuff was solid. I was playing on normal, so I still got my ass kicked a couple of times, but you start to get the feel for stuff, and in general, you can work your way out of stuff and just kick lots of ass. Mm-hmm. And it was pretty fun. I approve of Doom. And I can't wait to get my my magic hell lightsaber back from Robot Man, because that's the ending. He steals the crucible and it turns into your giant glowy sword thing, and then he's like, "Go someplace else now. I don't want to kill you, but I don't want to deal with you. Go away." So it's got a pretty harsh cliffhanger ending. Like I said,
okay.
I'm interested in Eternal. Unless it's maybe not necessarily significantly, but unless it's sizably longer, I am riding high on buying the 2016 Doom for like just $5, so there's a little bit of that action to be like, okay, well, Doom Eternal's $60 right now. If it's the same length, I don't know if I want to pay that much for it. And we'll see how I feel. So I have positive reviews on Doom. It is on sale until like the end of this month, so if you haven't picked it up, check it out, consider it. It's really good, especially if you like classic old school FPS stuff. Like, it'll kick your ass if you're not careful, but it's definitely got a lot of the good action in there, and it's fun to play. Great stuff.
It's fun. Alright, stream over.
Speaking of streaming, so on Thursday I did in fact stream Destroy All Humans. I had a lot of fun. We're probably not going to stream it again because let me tell you, Lucky, even for me streaming stuff, even though the game was brand new, the views and stuff were bad.
Oh, yeah, I think you only had like 10 people in there at a time.
At most. And in like the last like half hour, it was down to like 5 or 6. So it never got super popular. I don't know if people were just sassy it wasn't a Lucky stream, or people were sassy. I told all the people who wanted to talk about FGO to kindly fuck off. I mean, I said it nicer than that in the stream, but that's what I meant, basically. So I'll own up that I was a little short with them. Though I do know Loth fell asleep to be playing Destroy All Humans, apparently. He said that later. Well, okay, it has now accumulated about as many views as my Doom stream, so that's doing a little bit better, but it's still not super big, and definitely didn't have as many concurrent viewers as some other stuff. But I don't know if I'll bother streaming it, even though it was fun and we had some decent engagement. It just didn't seem like it popped with the audience very well.
Why the fuck is Tanaka? Oh, it's a fucking pitcher, that's why.
There's a lot of people, I guess people have just been, like in a drought of sports, so anything sports related is just blowing the fuck up right now. I don't even know.
No, yesterday someone named Nani was trending. I'm like, who the fuck? Like, why is what? I'm like, oh, it's actually a person named Nani. I was like, oh, okay.
Shit happens. So Destroy All Humans, the remake. And yes, it is a remake. But it's a remake in the best way. So, and there's even a warning when you start the game that basically tells you, hey, the graphics are tuned up. Most of the content of this game is exactly the same, and this game was made in, like, when was the original Destroy All Humans? It was in the PS2 era. The classic Destroy All Humans. First date, Destroy All Humans, 2005. 15 years ago. And let me tell you, for the most part, they didn't change shit. Like, I think there was a little bit of editing. There's the bit where you kidnap Miss Rockwell early, which they trimmed out a little bit of the back half, because that was already pushing the limits of, like, T14 suggestive in the shitty PS2 graphics. It would have probably been a little bit too much in the glorious HD, because holy shit, everything is super HD, guys. But, so, for the most part, the plot and dialogue is all the same. All the dialogue is just remastered or reused text. I think the only thing that they did new is that, they actually added back in a mission that was cut out of the game in the original version. So they added a mission back in, and I think they had to re-record some dialogue for that. But other than that, it's all archival audio that's been remastered. But the graphics are greatly enhanced. People's facial proportions are a little bit more cartoony, but that's okay, because it's higher def, so that means they don't look weird. Even though everybody has huge chins, but like, there's a lot more detailing on all the characters and a lot more all the stuff, a lot more background details. For instance, in the first game, everybody was pretty white. Now they have people of different skin tones because HD, and we can make a lot more models easier. And just the visual effects are super great. Like, I talk about this a lot. Like, the first place you go is, the farm, and it's just like, in the original, it's just like, yeah, it's just green hills and fields with some grass textures occasionally. Now it's like, oh, you got, like, fields of grain, you've got, like, fucking ambient occlusion and god rays and shit. You have, like, fucking water physics if you walk through, like, a mud puddle. There's, random bits and bobs of grass. It's just graphically amazing, stunning. Really, really good quality there. So, that's the first... Those are the first two things that are a big check mark on Omega's personal video game remake list. The game is not substantially changed except where it's expanded, which is a good quality for a remastery type remake. Not like rebooting the franchise. And this is interesting to think about, having also recently beat FF7 remake, right? Where it's like, is that a remake, or are we actually secretly rebooting the franchise? What are we doing? It's gonna be interesting to see. Yet. And that's the thing, we don't know yet, so I will hold off on that. But obviously, big deal. Graphics were super updated. Audio quality was bumped. Like, everything looks pretty and modern. Like, I've talked about this on stream. A lot of times when you think about nostalgic games, you think, oh, they look super good, and then you play them and you're like, this looks like ass. No, I was like, oh no, this is super way better than the original graphics. Holy shit! Like, no nostalgia. This is just way better. But then the second thing they did is they updated all the game mechanics. The controls have been revamped. They added some quality of life stuff that was in future installments, because Destroy All Humans did actually get, like, 3 sequels. Nobody ever talks about, like, 3 and 4. One of them was, like, Wii Shovelware, and really nobody talked about the third one. Some people don't even want to talk about the second one, though I thought it was entertaining at the time. And I don't know, if I want to make it again, anyway. So there's a lot of big control updates. 1, water doesn't kill you instantly, it just hurts you. Perfect. Great. Love it. Because that was the thing. If you got too deep in any body of water in the original game, you just died. You keeled over and died. Which is frustrating, right? Now it just hurts you. It will kill you eventually. You can't stay in it, but you can touch it accidentally and not explode. They significantly improve the control mapping and the way all your different psychic powers work. They've made PK better. You can do other things while you hold something telekinetically if you're trying to move shit around and throw shit, that kind of stuff, right? Do lots of little things like that. Kind of revamped some of how the weapon controls work, locking on, moving. They've added a dash function, so you can press circle to just emergency evade and just scoot, and if you hold it, you can do like a proper sliding dash on the ground without having to jetpack everywhere. Jetpack controls are way better. You have way better acceleration, faster recharge. You glide a lot smoother when your jetpack runs out of energy, and it just moves you a lot better. Because the jetpack could be kind of clunky in the original version. Saucer controls are way better. They've given you a way to recover your health. They've given you better ways to like avoid like tracking missiles and shit being shot at you. You can actually move your saucer up and down vertically. You couldn't do that in the original version of the game. You could only, move up and down. You can like shoot your death ray straight down. You don't have to like strafe around stuff. And just lots and lots of really good quality of life. It's a very, very good remaster experience. If you like the original game at all, or are just interested in playing this type of game, you should, because it's great. Because like I said, the dialogue's all still the same for the most part, and even now, even in 2020, some of it's still a little spicy.
I've seen some girls with some big butts.
Well, yeah, first of all, there's the graphical design everybody is definitely a little bit sexier. And I was like, I don't know if in the 50s these skirts are actually this short, but anyway. There's a lot of people talking about lots of themes. People have private sexy thoughts. Some of which are of a repressed homosexual nature. Also, some stuff I just didn't get as a kid, because this was 05. I would have been like 12, 13 when it came out. So some stuff I got, some stuff I did not get. So playing it as an adult now, it's like, I get that now. But a lot of the humor stayed the same. And it's got a lot of really, really funny references, and somehow a lot of its biting political commentary is still relevant.
That says something.
They talk about mind controlling people through cable TV networks. I'm just like, wow. Like, it's interesting to see that a lot of this commentary is still timeless. Because obviously, at the time, it was doing that thing where it was making comments about the now and also the past by using the past, right? Because it's set in the 50s.
Yep.
But a lot of it still works. Though admittedly, some of the stuff is a little out of date. Like, I scanned one of the army guys while I was doing army-based stuff in Area 42. And he was like, I should have joined the Air Texas National Guard. That would have been easy. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's really dated now. In 05, that was biting modern commentary on then-President George W. Bush. But now it's just like, wow, that joke really doesn't have the same punch. And if you don't even know that fact, like if you were about the same age I was, and you're playing that game for the first time, you just probably wouldn't even get that, right?
You just think he's a disgruntled soldier.
Yeah, of which there's a lot of. There's references to like don't ask, don't tell, stuff like that. Like, it's got a lot of interesting comments and stuff in there. And so it's a really good, fun game, and I'm having a lot of fun just playing it, and both just fucking around, doing the bonus shit, exploring, and actually doing the missions and kind of replaying the story. It's really, really good. So I heartily recommend it. I think it's only $40 too, so they're not even making...
pick it up if it goes on sale later.
Sure. And obviously it's probably not in the summer sale right now because it's brand new, but it's really good, especially because I believe I heard that they did like a PSN and Xbox arcade port of the original a while back, and apparently it was kind of glitchy, or at least didn't fix any of the glitches from the first one, so I haven't really had any problems. I think I had one case where a guy like freaked out and got ate by the texture of the map, but I was able to blow him up with AoE stuff anyway, so it wasn't a problem. But in generally, it's not that glitchy. Like, honestly, I think I got stuck in more walls playing Doom. Because yes, you can totally accidentally get your giant Doomslayer body stuck behind environment objects if you're not careful.
That's the thing. Truly the FPS experience.
So I heartily recommend Destroy All Humans to people. It's much like how, Lucky was like heartily recommending Ghost of Tsushima as this deep-cutting, dramatic story. I'm like, if you ever just want to like fuck around and blow shit up and chuckle, play Destroy All Humans. Cause gosh, Pox, your mission control is Invader Zim's VA.
And it's the Invader Zim voice, too.
Oh, yeah,
so
totally. They knew they were doing. And Crypto's VA is doing basically a Jack Nicholson type impression. Here's Crypto. And they play off each other very well. It's very funny. Yeah, we're talking about Destroy All Humans, which I felt... I didn't realize if that was a subtitle in the first one, but it's very explicitly on, like, the title card and on the box is, like, One Giant Step on Mankind. I don't know if they added that subtitle to, like, reference that it's the new version or what, but I'll go with it. And so I am excited to keep playing that, and I will probably go do that after we're done here. Okay, so I talked about Doom, talked about Ghost of Tsushima, you talked about Ghost of Tsushima, talked about Destroy All Humans, we talked about gacha. Is there any other chigooglies we want to discuss?
Let Lucky throw himself forward! Blech.
Lucky making those training noises immediately go, oh, I should, like, roll my shoulders or something, stretch.
Sorry, Lucky was leaning back because he's, digging through stuff.
I have to be careful
Also,
about leaning back. I got a new computer chair mat because my old one was turning into knives, as they do when they get old. So this new one needs a little friction work. So I'm a little slippy slidey. Gotta be careful. But yeah, so
Lucky is currently downloading because they are right. It is available. So I'm downloading Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remaster. I'm like, that's all I need. Don't give me no fucking multiplayer. I ain't gonna touch it.
Yeah, I kind of, after playing the Modern Warfare Remastered multiplayer, I kind of miss the original Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer, but I'll get over it. Whenever I have a hankering to just play multiplayer casually, I literally just pull out Titanfall 2. And there's people still playing. I have a lot of fun with the multiplayer. That's my play against people and unwind game is still Titanfall 2.
Lucky is currently installing The Legend of Heroes: Trails in the Sky. I think I might have mentioned this.
Oh, hey, so Lucky did some on mic rolls. I have just acquired 6,000 Originum, so I will now do another 10 pull on Neon's banner, and we'll see what the fuck happens. What horror awaits me. I think this is number 6 total.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, it's not going to be good. It's only a 4-star max.
Ow. Oof.
Who do we got? Nobody knew. There's 2 Earth Spirits in here. What the fuck? Animals. Savage animals. Where the fuck is the pity rate? I'm doing awful, game. Help me out here. Anyway, I'll go turn all those guys into tokens because they refresh that store.
Yeah, but yes, I'm installing Legend of Heroes: Trails in the Sky because Tales of Cold Steel, 4 comes out this fall, and I'm like, and I think I've said this before, but I can't play 0 or Blue, but I can get the Trails in the Sky series done and have 6. The fuck? That was a random blip. Sorry, my antivirus popped up with something.
It happens.
Doctor! I love how this is the official spelling of Doctor now.
Yeah.
Doktath.
Because the Japanese emphasis.
Mm-hmm. But, so, yeah, because Trails in the Legend of Heroes series, especially this one, is fucking wild. It's literally 9 games. And let's see, the first 3 are the Trails in the Sky series, which is the first trilogy. Then there's Tales of Cold Steel, which takes place, which is 4 games, which takes over like several years. But then there's what the fuck was it called? I can't remember. It's like Ao no Kiseki and Zero no Kiseki, and they take place like in between, I think, like 1 and 2 of Trails of Cold Steel, but or is it just during 1? I'm not sure. But like I said, the 4th one and the final one in the saga comes out this time. I'm like, I need to prepare, so I'm trying to avoid buying new games until that comes out. But Lucky is still getting immensely hyped for Cyberpunk 2020. Give me that. Not 2020. 20. What is the year on it now? Fuck. 2070. Shit. Lucky can't keep things. 2077. Fuck. Thank you. Thank you, Google. You know what I was talking about. Anyway.
Yep.
But, so I'm installing that. I'm gonna play me some Modern Warfare 2. Lucky doesn't have much to talk about anime. Like, he's literally been, like I said, when Lucky's depressed, he either does, like, one of 2 things. Either he'll start watching all new stuff, or he'll start re-watching old stuff. And I did the latter. I rewatched a lot of the old stuff I like a lot of Strike Witch's Take Off, which is not the original. Let me clarify you. Strike Witch's takeoff is not the original Strike Witches series, which is all serious and small girls and tight swimsuits. No, it's the comedic parody, which if I must be honest, I like way more than the actual series because it is just nothing but them making fun of themselves. Fucking Yoshika having the fucking gay hype. She doesn't have gay panic, she has gay hype. Anytime she can get near some boobies, she goes fucking ecstatic. Fucking Barkhorn literally becomes like a mother figure, but as a mother figure, she's constantly punching Hartman and Shirley in the face, and they always go to Yoshika just going medic. It has a lot of gags that just heal my fucking soul. I was like literally watching it like every night because it's one of those series that only has like 12 minutes an episode, so you can like binge the whole thing in a few hours, and it's very therapeutic to me. Let's see here.
Don't you? No, I accept none of your shenanigans.
What are you talking about?
You cannot language drift me. I'm talking to Robin.
Oh no, Hoop is my fault. Back when we were watching the extra stream, someone misspelled Hoop, and I told them, all right, there's no more hype. There's only Hoop. And people have been sticking with it. So you may blame me for that one.
I don't necessarily accept things that Lucky, just because Lucky does them either.
Yeah. Yes, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to use the term gay Hoop. That sounds weird.
Yeah, no, I don't think that one flows, Chief.
This gets you the rabbit face. Well, speaking of Strike Witches, actually, there was something I was super excited about. They have been talking about like getting a bunch of more, for some odd reason, a lot more Strike Witches series off. They're talking about their Road to Berlin, and they're actually doing a second series of the 501 First Joints Takeoff Season 2, which looks like it's going to feature both the characters from the first and from Strike Witches and Brave Witches, which tells me I should probably watch Brave Witches at some point.
It's all right. It's okay. I watched it. I haven't actually. It's funny. I haven't actually watched the comedic one you're talking about, but I am actually a Strike Witches guy and have been for a while. And obviously, you guys should probably know that if you've ever watched seen anything Mages of War related. Yeah, no, I followed all the original series and watched Brave Witches and stuff. Strike Witches has an interesting kind of expanded continuity. There have been several mangas. There are canonically Tank Witches.
Oh, what, really?
Yeah, which have only been in some mangas or one shots and stuff. They're not just in the air. So there's they've got a pretty expanded little canon and lots of different characters in their commentary of just a very FGO style. What if Fighter Aces was girls? Kind of a theme. Yeah, it's interesting that they're still going strong. I remember that I believe Strike Witches, the original run, saved the studio is for. They made so much money off the ensuing merch and other licensing deals that they came out of the red and into the black. And honestly, well, I don't know how good it is now. There was some bad environmental CG back in the day, but there was a decent amount of artistry in it, a lot of smooth combat animations. The geometry and the CG on the aliens were really impressive. Lots of beam physics and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it could be pretty styling. So yeah, it's interesting. I'll be interested to see when they actually roll out with the new thing. Mm-hmm. That's my yawning noise.
It's a yawning noise. Oh, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Yes. This is slightly inappropriate, but I don't fucking care. I'm posting it.
Uh-oh, he's posting something inappropriate.
I am posting something inappropriate. The context for this is it's fucking summer, and Hartman's using her Strum ability to basically make the air cool. So, Lucchini and Shirley are super fucking close on her.
Dangerous.
It is dangerous. It's funny.
They have the funny.
They do have the funny.
But okay, yeah.
Anything else you got to talk about? I don't know. Lucky might just be fucking posting stupid images from Takeoff for a minute.
Okay, that's okay. Earlier, I went ahead and presuming that our Patreon menu will come through cleanly. Though I did see a couple declines. Hopefully, there's everybody double check all your payment and stuff. You're getting all your benefits. Mm-hmm. We usually say this on a new month to make sure everything flows good. Patreon is usually pretty good about contacting everybody when there's a problem or whatever. But I understand, go through it and make sure everything's working fine so you can get your benefits. But I went in and ordered another box of children's card games, which I will probably record opening. I think that I could see me doing that as a thing like every couple of months.
Mm.
Ordering a little box full of boosters and opening some stuff if I care about the pack and they're not super expensive. Because there was one I talked about on stream that was like, okay, I wanted to wait for a bigger money infusion so it's not as big a chunk of my budget. And then it's like, oh, well, it's actually come out, because it's not out yet, but it's actually come out. And the prices immediately jumped like 20 or 30 bucks because it's full of like limited shit. So everybody wants it and are upselling it. I'm just like, okay, no, I just don't care. I no longer care. It's no longer fun. I don't care.
Nope.
Which is how it's going to be for a lot. But I figure I don't got any too much stuff coming out that's related to that I care about. So I'll do a little thing and we'll see what happens. Because it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Once again, realizing that how cost effective it is now as an adult, it's like, oh, like $70 or $80 for some big packs of cards every couple of months to get some of that unboxy feel. Maybe find some fun stuff. Talk to people about it on the internet. That's okay. That works out. So my order is in. The other thing we left open was tabletop stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe, was there anything else I felt there was? I felt like there was kind of something, but I forgot it, so it's fine. It doesn't matter.
Nah. Oh, I thought Deb was just saying 2 of the directors were dead. I was all like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, no. The creative team for Strike Witches has been the same basically, but the studios and other stuff it's changed hands a few times. It's weird. It's like really popular and has staying power, but it just can't seem to the other stuff the studios are making can't seem to keep them afloat. And yes, Lucky is just posting. I see we like to do the shade over face effect a lot.
Oh no, like a takeoff is absolute minimum animation.
So it was oh fuck, we've run out of money.
But here's the crazy thing: it really works for the series.
Oh, I'm sure it does, and that's the thing
if you get a chance, honestly, please give it a watch.
Honestly, with like 4-Koa style, like gag manga and stuff like that, are also usually drawn in a minimal style, so I think it works. Yeah. You can definitely make that minimalist look work for you.
If you watch, you'll notice that very few times it's actually animation. It's just literally they're basically doing what they do for live 2D animation, where they just grab points of the art and move it around. Rather than actually animating.
Now, obviously, I think that it's when it's thematically appropriate, it's more effective if you can switch between the two, like the first season of One Punch Man.
Oh yeah.
Right, where they like when gag scenes they would do the super simplistic original like webcomic format, which worked really well, but then they would go to their bullshit, crazy high budget shit, which was amazing. Still love. There's a lot of great gifts from that show. Still, that first season and stuff. I know you talked about how it seemed like some of the quality was a little lacking in the second season, but also it kind of worked out. But I feel like I didn't see as much from that second season after it.
Oh no. There's definitely some high points in season 2, like particularly with like some of the Garo fights. But overall,
noted. But yeah. Okay. Lucky, we're at 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Oh, we're doing pretty good then.
Yeah. Do you want to start a conversation about GenSekai stuff? Do you have stuff you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do like GenSekai. I'm still super excited. Honestly, if everyone in the group was all like, I'm fine with stopping Star Wars, let's do GenSekai, I'd be like, I'm okay with this. But I don't know because I'm still working on that because... What?
I said, I kind of hope not, because I'm still working on some stuff.
I know. I don't think anyone is, but just saying, if it happened, I'd be like, okay, I'm down with this. Access fishing.
It is.
What was I saying? Oh, but yeah, so GenSekai, Omega, you are going strong.
Yeah. Honestly, you were talking about like maybe buying games and stuff. I'm thinking like, man, I feel like having been writing all of this stuff, I feel like I could pick up a JRPG at some point.
Actually, interesting enough, PlayStation it's not necessarily a sale, but they are showing, hey, check out these JRPGs.
I should check it out. Or I'll finally pick up Octopath for my Switch. Who knows? Who knows what I'll do?
Yeah.
I think I gotta clear out a little of my backlog, and like I said, I gotta like keep an eye on the next couple of weeks for Ghost of Tsushima, but I'll probably power through some of my stuff pretty fast. But anyway, yeah, I'm still getting that feel. So yeah, I'm working strong. The document is hold on, now it's gotta load all those pages.
Actually, let me open.
No, I did not finish P5 yet. And the more you people pester me about P5, the less I will want to do P5. Omega's talked about this. Like, you need to stop. Because I would just be like, I don't do things that people tell me to do. Also, yeah, that.
Shida Paddle still sucks.
Like, I understand, yes, Persona is technically a JRPG, but I'm like, yeah, but I'm in a position with Persona. Ax, your reverse psychology also doesn't work. Like, I'm not an idiot, though, is the thing. So it's like, I know what you're getting at, and also, fuck you. You gotta let Omega decide to do stuff naturally, or talk to him about cool things. That's how it kind of worked with Final Fantasy VII Remake, was just I got super focused on Persona. Sorry, brushing away some dust from my mic.
Oh, yeah, that's right. This pick note is not turning out right.
And then I swung around and was like, okay, well, yeah, no, I feel like switching up and doing 7, and then once you get in there, you're in there. Anyway, we're talking about GenSekai.
Yep. So let's see here. You knocked out all the archdemons. That was cool.
Yeah.
And right now it looks like you've been mostly working on writing up descriptions for magic.
Yes, that was always the thing I planned, and actually I moved where it was located, because it felt like it needed its own section, kind of with headers. But I was always planning on, like, okay, and this is the same way in the Rules of Terranoth Fantasy Supplement.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I've always kind of figured that I would need a magic section, and especially since you had talked about that. So I have actually been, since I did power through and do all kind of the cosmology and the archdemon stuff and get all through that, I was like, okay, let's sit down, let's do the magic. So there's a generic overview. It involves a big table that lets you know what spells you can do with what magic. It's not complete yet because I'm thinking about adding a couple spells, but maybe we'll circle back to that. It was a little awkward to do because, like I said, I did this and I'm like, yes and no have no meaning to me anymore. Because again, borrowing from the I don't even remember what R is. It's ROT, something of Terranoth. It's not
Realms of Terranoth.
Realms of Terranoth? Is that what it's called? I don't care. Nobody cares about Terranoth. Nobody buys Rune Wars. I don't know if anybody actually plays the Runebound board game. Absolutely nobody uses that book to run the Runebound setting, which is Terranoth. They all use it because it was their first splat, which was a generic fantasy splat for Genesis, and it works really well. But for what they do to approach Magic is that they do the same table, which is like it cross-references the schools with the spell type and says yes or no. So Arcana can do attack, yes. Cannot do augment, no. Can do barrier, conjure, curse, dispel, no heal, and no transform. Technically, nobody can do transform but primal. Except for I did a fun thing later, which we might talk about if we talk about the bonus prestige classes. But yeah, I did all that. I did an overview of like what does it actually mean to do magic. And then I did actual fluff descriptions, which are like 6 or 7 paragraphs about all this stuff, kind of explaining what all the schools mean, how they work in the fiction, and also a little bit about the greater mechanics and the rules of them and how it all works, and kind of like putting stuff like for Divine, I've put very distinct talks about how how Divine Magic works. You have your patron, basically. You have your chosen deity that you're patronizing, and how because it's willpower based, and how it's much like Divine Casting and like D&D and other games which harken to that system. You don't really do the work. Your deity's doing the work, kind of.
Yep.
So it's about.
I had fun with that, by the way.
Yeah, it's about building your rapport and summoning enough willpower and showing that you're trustworthy. So as you get higher and higher ranks of Divine, you're not like learning new mysteries, though you might come up with, being able to memorize higher level and more complex prayers and rituals to like invoke your deity. It's mostly about just building up your knowledge and your rapport so they can trust you with bigger and badder spells. Like, unless you can roll really well and put a lot of oomph into calling that, thunderstorm or whatever down, the gods aren't just going to get casually like, oh yeah, this asshole can do. Just because you have faith, you don't get thunderstorms. Yeah. But because there's a lot of complex relationship there, it's totally possible to narratively, because this is, well, not a fluffy game. Genesis is ultimately a narrative game. Mm-hmm. There will be narrative times where you might even lose access to your divine spellcasting. It even says you lose the ability to cast divine spells. You'll still keep your ranks in the divine skill, because you can roll it to understand and remember stuff about divine magic, but you might lose contact with your patron deity and can't cast spells anymore. Cause... I
mean, that's always been a thing in like fantasy tropes. Like, shoot, paladins like losing their paladin powers and have to make a fucking quest of redemption's always been a thing.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
That kind of stuff.
There's kind of ups and downs in that, but yeah, in general, like it is kind of shitty to like lose your defining thing, but also because this is Genesis, you don't like necessarily lose any features, and you can like very few talents will specifically harken to specific schools of magic. So if you like if you're like a divine caster and then you pick up all the spellcasting talents and you're like, well, shit, I can't divine cast anymore. You could do something else. But also I talk about because there's role-playing constraints, right? Like, you can't be a priest of somebody, but also constantly be fucking up their tenets and stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's dumb. That's not how that works. Even with outsiders being, on a mission from God or whatever, you still have to kind of play by the rules. With a capital R. The rules.
Yeah. Tell them you failed, bang.
But if your attitude changes and maybe you find yourself drifting away from your original deity, if you still possess the capacity for faith, you might find a new deity that works out. And also, I did kind of because you asked about this and some other people asked about how do you handle being faithful and worshipping multiple deities? It's like, oh, well, usually because while the Scions are all on the same side, they can have some different, different opinions on how they should do things, or they have different purviews. There are still some Scions that have, solid relationships. And I did start with Verna because that's your subject, but also I put other examples in there.
Mm-hmm. I definitely played around with that concept a little bit when thinking about Border. Just what spells he'd be used or whatnot. And I came up with some interesting ones, for example, Aphros the Dominia kind of has a tsundere relationship with Porter, because while Porter does cook the good food and makes sure to give his proper offerings, Porter is also a purveyor of brothels. So Aphros is kind of on one hand, but on the other hand, and so he doesn't get quite as much power from her as one might think in the first place. But I did like the example that used with Verna, and because if you have a good relationship with Verna, you might have a good relationship with her sister Aqua, both of them being primordial deities, and if you have a good relationship with Verna, you might probably have a good relationship with her sons, Mir and Pavel, scions of Mir's the fucking magic.
Mir's the scion of magic and dungeons.
Magic and Dungeons, and Pavel's of hunts, journeys, and
wild stuff.
Yeah, wild stuff. Yeah. And all that stuff, and like I said, I was having a bit of fun of actually alright, so how much juice do Scions give Porter? And I was coming up with little reasons why. Like I said, Lucky's going really hard on the narrative fluff parts of here and justifying everything he does through narrative reasons. That's definitely not something that heals just to everybody. As I said, I just like the setting so much that it just keeps coming to me. For example, how do you pronounce it? Chrysor?
Chryso.
Chryso.
Ends with an O.
Chryso, our almighty sun deity. Chryso is a pure and noble soul, and he sees the pure and noble soul in Porter, but that pure and noble Pork is also trying to get with his wife. She's just a little. Lucky likes to believe that while the Scions don't maybe not physically talk to you, you can still get an impression of how they feel about you. Mm-hmm. Probably when you're casting one of their miracles, maybe you get an impression or something.
Yeah, because you're trying to you use energy, which explains why you take strain to cast spells. All of it is explained in all the formats. So you use that energy to draw a connection and be like, "Almighty Chryso, the Sunbearer, let there be light." And then you infuse your energy so that Chryso or one of his agents actually hears. Is like, "Oh wait, there's a guy down there asking for light." And then you might go, well, I think I did it right, so there's no light, so maybe we don't? No, casting a simple light would be probably utility. And that's because you asked about this, casting different utility stuff. That was my explanation for, okay, if you're trained in divine magic, if you're a priest who actually can use divine spells, you probably can muster up enough generalized faith and enough generalized memory of prayers and rituals to tap in a little bit to all the good Scions to get some of your cantrips done, basically, utility stuff. Yeah. But your theming and your signature spells, your elemental spells, a lot of the stuff you're really good at is probably going to be flavored to your patron deity, because if it's you might piss some people off.
Porter is definitely only going to be really using attack spells via earth, or healing spells will be used in Verna's name. But if he needs to summon a bowl of water or purify some water, he's not calling on Mother Earth for that. He's yo, Primata Sister Water, can I please get a cup? Can I please get a cup?
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's pretty easy.
And it's not gonna be like that. It's not gonna sound like that. Aye, sister. No, that's how you get your boat sunk.
So yeah, that's quite a lot of exposure on divine. Whereas Arcana is kind of Like, divine is just, if you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't kind of thing. Like, it's very finicky. It's very much based on faith and your relationship with the divine and all that kind of stuff back and forth. Mm-hmm. Emphasis on, like, the personal willpower and stuff, kind of underselling the component stuff, because I realize that there's no divine caster who gets component casting. Whoops. It's not a big deal. You could always multi-class or something, but also I added an item you can use which does the same thing. You can now buy sticks of incense. You have to consume them, and they're like 1 gold a pop, but if you do, your next divine spellcasting check and your next Ordic discipline check gets a blue die. Yay, religion. Anyway.
Clearly I need a fucking one of those sensor burner things I can just attach to a set that I have to swing around.
Yeah, that's fair. That is called a sensor.
Oh, it is a sensor.
It's spelled... I think it might be... I think it's got a slightly different spelling. Somebody can look it up. But yeah, so divine is kind of finicky. Primal, which I just did last night, is kind of the median between the two. It's called the Path of Listening because it's cunning based. It's based on the same stat that your perception-y type skills are based on. Is you have to, like... Anybody can theoretically do it, but not literally everyone can do it because not everybody has the right personality, you know?
The spirits gotta like you, boo.
They gotta like you, and you have to have the right mindset to actually, like, listen, gather information, feel out the spirits and the natural energy, and, like, talk to them. So some people can't do it just because they don't have the right aptitude, but technically anybody can do it. There's no quote-unquote barrier to entry, but you just need keen mind and strong senses. With a little flair on there, because cunning is also used for, like, deception and stuff. Some people work it as almost like a bargain or a wager with the spirits. Like...
That sounds fey as fuck.
Like, hey, I bet you can't throw that rock at that guy, and the Earth Spirit's like, oh, I'll throw a rock at that guy, you'll see. And then he throws a rock at that guy, and you're like, cool, you threw a rock at that guy. Thumbs up.
I'm impressed. Good job. Clap,
yeah.
Clap, clap, clap.
So, there's a little bit of that, and that can also explain why cunning is the core stat. But, while you do have to build this rapport with the spirits are theoretically everywhere, and usually they're localized, so if you fuck up the spirits in one place, you can always move to another place. And also because they're immortal, they're non-mortal beings, they're weird. They think weird things about time. I did note that a lot of them just forgive and forget pretty fast. They don't pay any hate. But if they don't forget, if you fuck up really bad, they will never let it go. So be careful. That'll probably come back more when talking about spirits as like an adversary or allies profile.
Oh no, this is cute. I'm retweeting this.
But Primal is kind of, like I said, that middle road where, like, it takes a little bit of dedication, a little bit of skill, and a little bit of, like, interpersonal relationship with the spirits. Or just understanding spiritual energy, because I do time on it. Because while you can do, like, normal-ass attack casting and other stuff with Primal, you can also do interesting things like work with animals and plants and transform. That's kind of just like a more down-to-earth, just understanding your own natural spiritual energy. And, like, applying the same principles that allow you to speak to spirits who are not necessarily physical lets you, like, speak to plants and animals kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's the same sort of skill set, you just do it in different ways. So, there's some interesting different stuff there. And there are some different, like, reckonings for different races. Like, in Arcana, I'll circle back around to how that works, but in Arcana, I wrote a lot about how that works for the Neph, because that's really into their racial backstory. And Beastmen don't necessarily get a super call at an Arcane or Divine, because they're, one, they're bad at both those stats core. They start with a 1 in int and willpower, because they start with only, like, a couple of 2s and 1s and everything. But also, they're kind of the... Beastmen are really interesting because they're kind of the new race on the block. They're, as far as anyone knows, the youngest race. They never had an opportunity to have, like, their own really big standalone culture. Like, the world was already settled, so they kind of integrated with other areas. So it makes sense that they don't, like... They just follow along the trends for a lot of, like, divine casting or arcane casting. But Primal... Because they have their own interesting relationship with the spirits and the mobs, they can kind of do their own interesting stuff, right? So there's a little bit of hearkening to that. There's talking about the different places. There is some interesting relationship because it's about spiritual stuff with Longu, because Longu is the generic East Asian place in Western fantasy place. So they have some interesting learning about Primal. The Jinn, which I added recently, also have a really interesting relationship with Primal, but it's not really worth going into deep. It's just that they're like, nah, we just do Primal magic. That's the only kind of magic we do. All other magic sucks. Fuck you. The Jinn are a little bit assholes. And actually, it's funny. I believe they actually is cunning the thing they have minus?
I'm not sure.
I think so. I think because they have better presence, but they have lower Yeah, their cunning is 1, but their presence is 3. They do have a bonus to working with spirits and can take a free rank in Primal as their starting skill, but they are definitely kind of... There's a little bit of back and forth there. It's funny, because they are kind of jerks. But so that was all the work on Primal, and the first thing I did was Arcana, and Arcana is kind of that's the literally anybody can learn Arcana if you can just study. Like, the way Arcana works, is I kind of phrased it is before, is that out of character, or even in character, the outsiders, the player characters, would think of Arcana almost like hacking. Like, when you hack something, you're not technically doing anything that violates the rules of the system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you aren't doing something impossible. You don't create something from nothing, but you are exploiting the system. You find gaps in the rules, you find areas the rules don't cover, you work on a little program that does a little thing and maybe make something that's not supposed to happen. And that's what Arcana is. Like, it was discovered by the Scions that there were loopholes in the rules, but because the rules are absolute with a capital R, you can't really, quote-unquote, fix the rules. So arcane magic remains.
It's like the backward sprint jump in fucking speed runs.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Like there's little gaps in the mechanics that they don't cover. So you need a little bit of energy to make anything work because nothing is free, hence the stamina cost. And you can use focus items, but you have to actually build a spell, and you build a spell through the arcane part, the hidden part. So you use ritual phrases, gestures, geometric symbols, hidden scripts, all that kind of stuff that kind of makes the magic take a shape so it does something interesting and new. Some of this is just visualization, like just helping you shape what you want the effect of the spell to be, but some of it is actually using significant symbols. Like I talk about magic numbers. I used 3, 5, 7, 9, and 13. Those all have magic significance, canonically. Keywords, other stuff, and the thing about Arcane is that it's much more like a science, which is why it's int-based. You can actually discover new things about arcane magic. You can't really discover new miracles with divinity. That's not how it works. You can unlock new miracles. Your Scion may trust you more, that they're like, okay, I can lend you a holy relic, or I can do some very personal, big deal intervention on your behalf, but you don't really do anything new with them. No. Same with Primal. And the way I phrase it with Primal is, unless you're tapping into a really big geological figure, the way you do big stuff with Primal is you're able to reach a lot of spirits, right? One little fire spirit, you can summon them up or even create one. That starts a campfire. If you can get a lot of them together, then you can start a firestorm kind of thing. With Arcana, you can legitimately develop a new quote-unquote spell. You can figure out a new way to arrange arcane forces to do a thing. This also means that there's, again, playing up to the arcane, the secret part. Arcana literally meaning secret in Latin. By the way, if you ever wondered in Kingdom Hearts, Ars Arcana means secret art. I don't know why that involves throwing keyblades or hitting stuff, but it does. Lots of different things. But that's the kind of technique that it involves and the stuff it works with. And you can actually have there are completely different schools of magic who are separate and actually don't talk about what they do. So there's a lot more secretiveness to it. And there's some kind of back and forth about how people do it. I mentioned that generally Pork and Beastmen don't have a good grasp of arcane magic. Not because they're necessarily, either of them are idiots per se. Their int is lowered, but they're not stupid for the most part. They're still, thinking sentient creatures. They just don't have the focus and patience to do all the learning shit.
If you generate enough threats and maybe despairs, maybe.
Oh yeah, certainly. That would definitely be a thing where you could.
Also, yeah. So Ars Arcana was the ground combo. It's what was it? Brave Slash, Strike Raid, Ars Arcanum. What was the other one?
There was Sonic Blade was the dash attack.
Sonic Blade. That's what it was.
Strike Raid was the throwing. I don't remember what the air one was because I don't even remember. Was that in the original?
I don't think it was in the original. I think it was in 2 though.
There were many different combos. Fun stuff.
It wasn't the original. I don't remember it.
There were a couple different things. But yeah. So there's Arcana leans definitely into secretiveness, studiness, and all that stuff. The only exception is the Neph, because they were infused with arcane energy, but also super cursed, is they can actually do magic very naturally, but generally people are kind of skeeved out by this, because magic is weird. And so the one I've got to do, maybe later today, maybe tomorrow, I don't know, is the last magic school is Verse. Which, Verse is going to be very interesting, because that's kind of the bardic magic music stuff, and the short version will be that Verse is all the other little things combined with maybe some other stuff. Verse is very synergistic and very combinatory. The only primary thing is like the rhythm and the music. But when you do a verse spell, maybe you're speaking an arcane song or phrase. Maybe your sweet rhymes involve hidden language. Or maybe your song attracts the attention of a passing spirit, or maybe even your songs are so beautiful that it causes the gods themselves to weep and then it rains or something. Right? So verse will kind of be in that respect. And I'll have to come up with a decent fluff explanation why verse doesn't have attack by default. Probably just that it doesn't work fast enough and sure enough to develop destructive energies or something. I don't know. I'll workshop it. And then after that, I think we'll be done with fluff stuff for a little bit. Because obviously I do have to work out the allies and the separate allies and adversaries sections, though that'll also involve some stat blocks. But Free Races and Noteworthy Allies is a section that will talk a little bit more about the different. That'll be better if you want cultural deep dives on your races. Mm-hmm. Slightly separate from geography, and also probably include some basic bitch stat blocks for like human town guard or human soldier, human farmer, wandering elf, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Lucky looked it up. It's Ragnarok is the air combo.
Ragnarok was the air combo. That's right.
Yes.
I don't think I ever used it a lot because enemies were very finicky at being in the air. But yeah, I remember that now.
Yep.
But yeah, so that'll include those kind of stat blocks, and then adversaries will actually talk about the fluff of like different mobs and groups and stuff like that and threats, but also it'll have a lot of fun enemy stat lines for people to have fun with. As my Star Wars players know, Omega likes to get fun with the stat lines.
Yeah, well, what I think it might be interesting is I feel like a lot of the, like, if we actually ever get to playing, you'll probably just develop enemies as you need them, and just like, and we're just going to copy that into the book for forever.
Could do it that way. I will also probably use some of my generic stuff. I'm probably not going to remake skeletons 5,000 times, because I'm definitely just going to, well, one, especially because necromancy is a thing I will want to develop. Because obviously with stuff like, with conjure or transform and stuff, like with the fact that with magic you can become other profiles, or you can get hirelings and stuff, you want to make sure you have a decent, robust ability, much like how, like for Clone Wars, or even for Age of Rebellion, you want stats for, like, friendly clones and rebel troopers in case you need them to help you out. So there'll be a little bit of that, right? But also, yes, sometimes I might just come up with some fun stuff, but we'll hit up some nice, some nice standard generic fantasy creatures and mobs and stuff, and then some weird unique stuff because I like it, and then obviously my own weird unique takes on things. But we'll need a decent spread of stuff you can run into. But that'll be different because I think what I'm going to do is, like I said earlier, I'm going to scroll back up and I'm going to actually hit up the additional rules section because I've been kicking around the idea for a couple of new spells. Because I know some people have been like, oh, don't create new spells, they're not good. But then the expanded player's guide came out, right? Mm-hmm. And that contained 3 new spells. That's where Mask, Predict, and Transform are from.
Yes.
So that kind of got me on the thinking about like, it's not a bad idea if you want something in the rules. And I expect in the future maybe they will work on some stuff. I just don't know when. I don't actually know much about They've announced that they're working on a Twilight Imperium book, which would be that's they're moving to a different studio, Edge Studio Publishing, for RPG stuff. Twilight Imperium is Fantasy Flight Games in-house, like, really famous and popular space opera type board game setting and stuff. So that'll let them do some more generic space opera type things. I don't actually know if that involves psychic powers or not. And if so, how they'll do that. Will that just be talents? Because the Keyforge book has some talents which are definitely very like psychic leaning, like telekinesis and silent communication and stuff.
TK.
Though I did actually put a couple ranks of TK in for a certain stat line, but it works as a magical thing too. But I don't know if they'll do that as like spell effect or psychic power effect or talents. I do know that in the pretty popular Dark Heresy hack, because somebody kind of repurposed that because Dark Heresy was originally a Fantasy Flight game, and people have thoughts and feelings about Wrath and Glory, the new quote unquote it's 40K RPG. They switched who's got the license for that. Some people have some thoughts and feelings about that one. I don't know anything about it. It sounds kind of like it doesn't necessarily have the same soul as some of those old Fantasy Flight game lines. But I don't know if they'll that had the Dark Heresy hack for Genesis had separate psychic powers in it, so I don't know what we'll do there. But the two I'm considering is one, because terrain is a huge deal. I literally have an additional rule section set aside for terrain where I'm going to kind of emphasize the video gamey, sometimes like strategy-like effect on this. I'm going to literally be like, okay, so you don't have to play these strict, but here are actually some codified rules for like, hey, you're in a forest, here's what it does. Kind of thing for like some sample rule effects to kind of actually make it feel like the terrain is an important feature, because it is. That is kind of a big deal. Terrain is one of those capitalized words in the setting, right? So I want to actually double down and emphasize, like, no, if you're in an X terrain, this happens, to kind of like do the thing. Not going to go as far as to build full advantage and threat charts for every terrain type. That would probably get too much. I will note that if you want to take this to the next level, people should develop them, and I might develop them for my own purposes in specific, because I've done that with Star Wars before, where the pre-existing tables did not cover what I wanted. But still, there's definitely some wiggle room in there, and definitely some sort of working effects there that can kind of do all that stuff. Excuse me. Sorry, I burped a little. But there's kind of those kind of terrain effects I want to do. But after that, I've got one of those spells I'm calling it Alteration. I call it Terraform for a while, but I'm going to call it Alteration, I think, in the final, which will be the actual ability to manipulate terrain, because there is some force powers and other stuff that do that. I think the basic bitch ability will be turn a target area of terrain into difficult terrain, or if it's already difficult terrain, make it normal-ass terrain kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then stack from there. So you can make it impassable terrain, like you can literally make like a deep dark pit, or you can make a super tall wall that people literally can't cross over without possibly needing to make checks. We talked about this a little bit, like somebody asked, what would summoning a mist be? Could that be mask? And I'd be like, if you want to summon an illusory mist, yeah, that's mask, the illusion spell. But one of the additional effects for Alteration would be to literally create concealment, to like temporarily make it overcast or summon clouds of fog or mist, to like even make like an intervening screen of grass spring up, that kind of thing. One of them will probably be to create positions that count as cover kind of stuff, because there are some talents that let you do that, so letting you do that as a magic thing too will work. And then I got some other ideas for like maybe different stuff, like some that will like help you with spell casting to like hollow a terrain or not, so that like enemy creatures can't get into it, kind of thing. That'll be a divine only effect to make a holy zone. And one of the probably harder effects will be to start fires, because there are hazardous terrain rules, so it'll be like, and add 2 difficulty to create a fire or acid in the target zone with an intensity equal to your ranks in knowledge. So not like super hot, not like you can't get up to 10 easily for like super boiling lava, but like you can start some fires and do some stuff like that. And I'm thinking that Alteration will be the core 3: Arcana, Divine, and Primal only, not Verse and not Demonology. I thought about whether or not it should not be Arcana, but I said, no, they can do that. And the second thing is Compel, because I noticed this. This is on the one hand, looking at the influence power from Star Wars, I'm like, wow, this is really boring, because 90% of it is just, ooh, range, ooh, magnitude. It's only got like 3 real upgrades in there. But it does do stuff that you can't yet do with spellcasting. Like, you can change people's emotional states or make them believe something untrue in a magical sense, basically. Which is, like I said, and I talked about this discussion with some people, are like, oh, you just want to use magic to substitute for social stuff. I'm like, not necessarily. I don't want to invalidate social skills, but at the same time, I use this example. You cannot, with deception, go up to a guy, wave your hand, and go, I'm not here. Like, maybe you could, like, try and coerce that guy, or try and persuade him.
You can disguise yourself?
You could disguise yourself to, like, look like somebody else. You could, like, try and intimidate them and be like, I'm not here, as in, you shouldn't say to anybody I'm here. But you cannot literally do these aren't the droids you're looking for, right?
Right.
Like, you cannot magically make them believe something for a period, and so I was thinking that would be the basic effect to port that effect over. And also, you did bring this up, so I am thinking about doing it in, I still don't know whether it will be balanced to be a standalone effect or a basic effect. I think it might be an add-on effect only. But to cause strain damage, because in social combat, I'll have to reread those sections too to get a look here, but in social combat, the way that you bring people around to your side is to, like, fully exceed their strain threshold. They don't pass out, but they cannot continue the argument, and usually they capitulate. You come to a compromise depending on your own strain status, or maybe they just fully come around to your attitude. And there are talents that, Razor Wit or something. It's in Bishop. Let me double check. I got that document open. Sharp Tongue improved, right? That's a tier 5 talent that when you inflict a critical remark, because you can critical hit with remarks too, same effects basically, kind of thing. Once per encounter, you can, or not even then, when you inflict a critical remark, you may try and force that target to capitulate immediately. So, like an ability, because only, I believe you brought this up, only school spells. Oh
yeah, only one.
Is it? I think only Primal can do non-lethal.
Yeah, only Primal and attack spells. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I'm fair with keeping it that way for attack, but this would be another way to use magic to deal strain to, like, because again, there's not necessarily a way to, like, magically model just being like, sleep! And the narrative works the other way. If you're in, like, a town hall meeting and you're having a debate, if you whip out your magic dick and are like, oh baby! That's gonna have narrative and social ramifications than just having an honest discussion. On the other hand, if you're sneaking places or you run into a goblin sentry or something and you're just like, you don't see anything, that's gonna, you can't pull that off with deception. You cannot make that guy believe you're not there. But with magic, you can be like, I'm not here. And I'm also thinking additional effects will be, it can have buffs to enhance you in social combat, because there's not a lot of magic stuff that interacts with social stuff.
Glamour!
Yeah, I think I'm going to call it Gift of the Gab. You can, like, give somebody bonus successes on their next social check. You can target yourself, that kind of stuff, but you can target allies and just be like, you've got it, buddy. Or the classic, like, you can do it to upgrade to, like, Charm Person, like, this guy's your friend until something happens otherwise. Or even Hold Person, you can temporarily immobilize people with magic. Separate from activating, like, what I mean is you can make the point of your spell just to paralyze somebody, not, like, do it as an add-on with, like, Ensnare. Yeah. Different things. Kind of like how Bind does different stuff. Yeah, and somebody brought up, there's the Scathing Tirade talent. You can just yell at people to cause strain. But that's not really a magic thing. That's using social skills. So I'm like, you can find a way to work this out. Like I said, I still don't know how it's going to be balanced. I got to workshop it, but I've got ideas in mind. And I've even been thinking about, I'm not committed to it yet. But I may actually also be thinking about more physical stuff. Because you can conjure tools, and conjure weapons and stuff, but I'm wondering about, like, if I want to make, like a transmutation school spell to, like, physically interact with certain abilities and, like, temporarily modify weapons and armor, like change their material value, because material is a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or do some other interesting stuff, but I'm not sold on that yet. I might do that through other means. I have some other mechanics I want to work on. So the 2 spells are kind of the big thing that I'm gonna work out and sketch out. I do need to do the crafting system. I do need to do structures and strongholds, which will have that'll have, like, extra bonuses for, like, describing NPC profiles, describing extra things. Some of them will actually have, like, interactions with silhouette and hull trauma, because they could be in sieges or vehicle battles. Like, if you have a coastal fortress, somebody might try to bombard you with ship cannons. Who knows? Or
Monkey's most interested in seeing if he can make structures, if only temporarily, out of magic.
Yes, that will probably be the, like, super high-level alteration, like, +3 to, like, temporarily make a structure as defined by the structure rules for, like, 24 hours.
Yeah.
So you can be like, boom, we have a house.
Behold, it has 3 bedrooms, a bathroom, and a kitchen.
It'll be gone next sundown.
Yes, check out these fucking cabinets. Motherfucking mahogany. I actually find that really awesome because, like, honestly, with Pablo, Verna, and Vern, I'm like, yeah, no, this totally makes sense.
Yeah. So that I think is a thing that'll be in there. It probably won't have any hard and fast rules until I work my way down to the structures setting for, like, it'll just be like, you can make a structure that lasts this long. And then we'll probably customize that once I figure out what all the structures are. Because there are a few different things you can construct, a few different things you can buy. You can buy prefab buildings in certain splat books in Star Wars. And then you can just have resources, you just get upgrades. Like, the Homesteader business or Rebel base upgrades are just like, oh, well, you have a Homesteader business, here's what you do to there. Instead, it'll probably be like, and here's your cost-benefit analysis to building a business, like build a shop or build an inn. And then what it does mechanically, right? Which will probably follow the Star Wars theme of, like, generating so much money per month or whatever, or per week. And maybe possibly have stats in case somebody tries to burn your bar down. Oh no! Don't you hate when they do that? And stuff like that. And then at higher levels, you can build, like, it'll take you probably a couple months, but you can which is also, that's again very video gaming. That's super lowballing how long it takes to build a castle. But you can build a castle if you're willing to put in a few days worth of work. Probably something like 30 days baseline or something ludicrous for player characters. But you get a sweet castle out of it. And then once you have certain buildings, you can buy upgrades or build upgrades that will do that stuff, right? Like you can, if you add a training hall, you can like get advantage on all your combat checks if you spend some time there, kind of stuff. You can build an alchemy lab, which lets you do better at alchemy stuff, which we tied into the crafting rules I need to solidify, But I also do, because I love random tables, and also I think it suits this kind of setting really well, I do have plans to do random magical items, because I do kind of like what the Keyforge book does with, like, many different weapon and armor templates, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about how I could kind of borrow that same kind of feel to GenSekai, and I was like, oh, just random shit you find in a dungeon. Random drops. Of course.
Mm-hmm.
You find a +1 sword of giant kneecapping. Okay, cool. And you find a spear of water stabbing. Why am I gonna stab water? Why's it gotta be like that? Some of them will be funny, but most of them will be useful. There will be like a generic Slayer type effect, which I've already decided the rules for that are probably you get like accurate 1, vicious 1 when attacking a creature of the type it's supposed to slay, kind of thing.
Give me a hand axe of returning, a throwing axe of returning. I'd appreciate that.
Magic boomerang.
Yep.
That's already a stat line, and it literally says in the description, you can use this for a runic hand axe or a throwing ring. So yeah, you would just use the magic boomerang stat line in magic items, which I've added some fun stuff. Oh, that reminds me, what was the thing I thought? Oh, I was thinking about adding scrolls as like proper, because you can get certain items that have pre-built spell effects in them, and the magic ring can let you do a spell effect without having the spell. But that lets you upgrade the difficulty. A magic scroll would be D&D style, like, okay, you can use this scroll. It's got exactly 1 spell pre-built into it. And it would probably be, you can cast it without needing the skill, but you would use the difficulty set by that spell, and after it's used, it's fucking gone. Pop. It just goes. So I might add that effect, I'm not sure. I need to think about the economy of making it too easy to cast spells and stuff. Which is a thought I had to do today, because I rounded out the last 2 rogue bonus specs, the advanced ones. I did the Corsair a while ago. As you can tell, they're kind of piratey, right? And they do get operating as a skill, so they can actually drive a boat. That's part of the reason why they count as advanced. Rogues are fun.
Mm-hmm.
And they get access to panache, so you can use presence instead of brawn agility to do certain attacks. They get access to the new talent loot first. Once per session, you can spend a number of advantage on any check to just gain money. You have to explain how you got the money, but it's fun. And then they have the full dramatic entrance tree, so they can like pop into a scene and actually do all that stuff. They have a new talent, prepare to be boarded. You can literally try and bully somebody into surrendering their ship, which is from the pirate universal tree in Star Wars originally. Funny how that works. And then they've got, the other thing is they've got a little bit of dual-wielding parrying stuff in there, including a new talent, double parry, which is once per encounter. You literally get to double your parry. You can be like, I want to make this a double parry. You have to have 2 weapons, but you double the amount of damage
You do the cross block.
Yeah. So it's really cool. You can only do it once per encounter because it's very dramatic. But if you have 2 weapons, you can literally be like, nah, I'm going to double parry this one. We're going to use both parries and just be like, no, stop. Because that is the thing I know that you guys have complained about with parry stuff. That like especially you, like you have the issue of like, well, I can parry, but that only stops so much damage. So I wanted to be like, okay, we'll throw in a fun little. It is only in this 1 spec, so it's not crazy out of control. But if you go down this route, you can actually be like, oh, I've got 2 weapons. I'll parry with both of them and double it up. Mm-hmm. And they also have like improved parry and counterattack, so they can do some interesting stuff with their different weapons. And the fun stuff is in dramatic entrance, because if you have high level of dramatic entrance, you can not only use dramatic entrance to pop into a scene, you can have all allies heal 2 strain, have all enemies suffer 2 strain. Fun, just like, I'm here. And then the ultimate version is you immediately get to take an action when you show up, including if you interrupt somebody else's turn, which is very piratey, I think. Then there's the next 2, which I did today. Now, I think you got does Warden get parry? No. Warden gets challenge and defensive stance stuff. They do different defensive stuff. So the next one I did was Skirmisher. So this one was a little bit weird. It went through some dev stuff this afternoon, right? Like I was developing the stuff and it went through some iterations very rapidly. What I settled on was kind of what I set out to do, which is the skirmisher is like a military scout type rogue. As an adventurer, most rogues are the 3 core specs for rogue are assassin, who is I kill people good from stealth. You have scoundrel, which is, like I said, that's if you're playing a party face rogue, which is shockingly not uncommon. It's probably because they get a lot of skills. Rogues do. So you can play a party face guy. And then the last one is thief, which is the traditional stealing stuff, disarming traps kind of thing. So assassin and thief are kind of questionable socially. But as an adventurer, you can do good work like assassinating evil mobs and, disarming traps for good. And also some people are just fucking criminals. But so skirmisher is much more the, regimented doing sneaking for military stuff. So they get access to extra rapid reactions. They're really focused on going first, ambushing. They have a couple ranks of the new talent, silent communication, so you can silently communicate with allies at a range. They have access to the new elusive talent, which makes them hard to track. They got a couple ranks of knack for it. They have easy prey. They have ported over from Star Wars. I ported over. They get the drop talent, so you can, if you can fluff that you're gaining an ambush somehow, you can get a bunch of extra success on initiative, equal to your stealth. But then I was like, I've only got 60 to 75% of this talent tree done. What do I want to do? So I added a new talent tree, basically. New series of talents I'm calling ninjutsu. Because skirmisher is also supposed to have a little bit of that shinobi ninja themes. But it let me do something I was really wondering if I was going to be able to do, which is kind of do the arcane rogue. Because that's a thing in some fantasy games is occasionally rogue can do a little magic shit or just use magic tools a lot. And that's even thinking back, that's even kind of a classic J.R. Tolkien thing. Bilbo was the burglar, but he also he was good at burgling because he ended up with a lot of magic shit, like his Ring of Invisibility, his magic sword, his mithril, that kind of stuff. So skirmishers have access to this series of talents called ninjutsu, which lets you become a pocket spellcaster. Not in the way that a ranger can get the wild magic talent. They can pick up the ability to do one primal spell at an encounter, and there are other classes which can get hedge magic or stuff. They can add magic skills to their career skills, and they can do certain spells in a limited context. There's probably, unless I can figure out another place to put it, there's probably not going to be the one that does divine. There is actually precedent for that. There's a Templar talent. I just didn't find any specs that works out for. Mm-hmm. If you want to multi-class into being a divine caster, you should just take one of the priest specs. It works. It works much better for letting rangers dabble in primal magic or letting a scholar dabble in arcane magic. But the way ninjutsu works for rogues in skirmisher is the first version of the talent, you take it, it says you may cast augment, mask, and utility spells as if you were trained in magic, because the normal way magic works is you cannot cannot buy ranks in a magic skill unless you have it as a career skill, and you cannot try spells untrained, basically. That's part of their balancing to doing magic stuff. Yep. You have to actually invest in magic. So ninjutsu means you can cast spells if you were trained in magic. Your ranks in the magic skill are treated as equal to half your ranks in skullduggery, rounded down, and are based on cunning. For purposes of magic effect, it counts as arcana, but they don't count as ranks in the arcana skill. And it has 2 big caveats besides the limited skill ranking and the limited spell list. You cannot use the counterspell maneuver, which is normally spellcasters can take a maneuver to quote-unquote counterspell, which is basically, it's actually pretty potent. It's just imagine if you just had the ability to, for free, dodge versus spells. You upgrade the difficulty of spells targeting you, as just a free maneuver just for having a magic skill. That's pretty potent. So you can't counterspell with default ninjutsu, and you cannot gain bonuses from magic implements. You don't use magic implements, you can only do certain spells. The improved version of ninjutsu adds the conjure and transform abilities, and you can use counterspell. But that's a tier 4 talent, so you gotta get a little bit up there. And then the ultimate version, the supreme version, it means that your ranks of skill ranks in magic are now your full ranks in skullduggery, so you're no longer halved. And then you can cast attack using the ninjutsu talent, so you can go all the way up to attacking people with it.
Animated as fuck right there.
Yeah, it's basically that. But it's like I said, it's still a pocket spellcaster. You still only get I can actually check how many spells that is because I have a diagram for that now. I think it's you only get access to half of them. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. You get access to less than half the spell list.
Mm-hmm.
And until you go all the way to your tier 5 talent, you are hard capped on what your skill ranks are. Because they can only be equal to half your skullduggery. So and I could even make it streetwise. They're both cunning skills. I'll think about that. I think I like skullduggery though. But it's you cannot go above like 3 until you get your supreme version, and then it's the same as your other skill. And you can't ever benefit from magic implements, so that means your base damage can't improve a whole lot. You can't get a lot of like free difficulty upgrades, but it means that you get a lot of little tricks. Like if you just buy the default version for 10 XP, you're not limited to once per encounter, and you can just cast Augment, Mask, and Utility, which are a great spell collection. Which I believe is it Augment or Mask that makes it? I found a printout that's just little. They're called spell cards, so they're just the little inserts for the spell effects and stuff. It's really helpful. It also includes zones to write down your commonly used effects. So let me see. Let me look at Augment, Divine and Primal. Yeah, Augment is not invisibility. That must be Mask. That makes sense. Yeah, invisibility is the big one. So you can with Augment, that's normally Divine and Primal only. You can you cannot do the Divine and Primal only effects because you don't count as a Divine or Primal caster. So you can only do Haste or Swiftness, or do multiple targets, which I think makes sense for a ninjutsu type thing. And then you've got Mask, which gives you a lot of fun stuff you can do to like blur, mirror images, invisibility, like I said. And then I upgraded that too. If you take the improved, you can get Conjure and Transform, because those are also super ninja-y things, right?
Oh yeah,
like summoning Kichase and transforming yourself into other shapes, kind of thing. And then finally, if you get really good, you can attack with it. So that's kind of how that worked out. And the last one is Vigilante, which is basically, I want to play a rogue, but I want to be Batman. Because that's, everybody thinks of Batman as a rogue. Or tries to build Batmans as rogues. I don't know. But being a shadowy Vigilante is definitely a sneakman thing, so that's Vigilante. Your specialization skills are Brawl, Coordination, Stealth, and Vigilance. And they're a little bit of a glass cannon-y build. They're very heavy on Brawl stuff. They collect a lot of talents from a lot of, like, monk builds and stuff. So you don't have to necessarily multi-class into, like, 3 monk builds to be a punch rogue. Because they have access to stuff like Tavern Brawler, Knockout Punch, Pressure Point, Grapple, stuff like that. But they don't have any Grit or Toughened. The way it worked out is there were just too many good talents to fit in those, so it's like, yeah, fuck it, that's just the thing they do. They don't have Grit or Toughened. They do have a couple of abilities to reduce damage and heal strain, but those are high level. Like, they have access to Zealous Fire, a talent that gives you lets you heal 2 strain every time the GM spends a story point. That's only previously been seen in Divine classes in some Priest specs. And their new Tier 5 talent is Coordinated Dodge, which, like, you might recognize the Star Wars version of that, because that's in, like, Martial Artist.
Oh yeah, no, isn't that the one you literally you can declare it, and your points of coordinations are just failure that are added to their check?
When you're targeted by a combat check, you can spend a story point to add failure to that check equal to your ranks and coordination.
Yeah.
So you can just be like, no, you're not hitting me, buddy. Just take 5 failures. You don't.
Yeah, Arma's getting to that point, but she has to get into martial arts for that.
Yeah, but that's their kind of high level defensive abilities. But they've got they have a new talent which I like out of the Keyforge book called Sucker Punch. 1, I like it because it gives you something to do with Triumph in the initiative phase. But 2, you can use that Triumph to immediately make a brawl check versus a valid target before the first round of combat begins. If your check is successful, you can activate Disorient without spending any advantage. So you get a literal Sucker Punch. If you roll Triumphs on initiative checks, you can, if they're in range, you can just punch a motherfucker and stun him before the fight even starts. I love it. And because it's a brawl check, you get to apply special rules like Knockout Punch, Pressure Point, stuff like that. So they've got shit like Jump Up. Bloodhound is a new talent that lets them add tracking. They're the other place the Elementary skill appears. That was previously only in Inquisitor. So it basically Vigilante let me do a lot of interesting stuff with rogues and duplicate a lot of talents that are not necessarily signature to do a lot of fun stuff. They also have access to Dramatic Escape because you're Batman. You can just spend a story point to just leave.
Oh, I'm out.
He's gone.
Where did he go? So
they're a really fun option for brawling stuff. Oh, and you can't really mark those boxes. There's There's a graphic for that, literally, because it has to be graphical. Axe is asking about how do you know where the trees follow. If you go to the top of the careers and specialization, there's a link to the graphic. You will need that. The graphics do not exist for the advanced classes yet, because I want to be done with all of them before I do that. And I've got 3 left. We've got Shaman, Troubadour, and Wizard. So all of those are spellcaster classes. Those will all be really interesting. I have a pretty solid idea what I want to do with each, and we're going to do some fun new stuff, work in some old stuff. Those are going to be really interesting. I kind of came out with Playwright as kind of a natural progression for Troubadour. The 3 Troubadour ones are Mime, Scald, and Playwright. So Mime is going to do some weird stuff with, like, mimicry, intimidation, doing some other interesting things. Expect them to literally have a talent called Silencing Strike. You can literally silence other people. To give them black dice on their spellcasting checks, of course.
Yes. Purple components.
Yeah, so basically, the way Silencing Strike will work is it'll be like those other talents where, like, okay, upgrade the difficulty of your next combat check. Probably Brawl or Melee, because it's going to be awkward to, like, silence somebody with an arrow. That's usually just killing them. But you can, like, strike somebody in the throat or chest to, like, take their breath away. And then it'll be... until the end of their next turn, they add 2 black to, like, spell and social checks, basically, because they're silenced. And Mime will literally have a mimic ability. I don't know what the rules are going to be, but they will literally have a Final Fantasy-style mimic command. I don't know whether that will just be spells, or if that'll actually just be any action. Like, literally, you can copy an action, including talent actions from somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I'll again, workshopping. Playwright's the one I'm not sure about. Like, I have some ideas for what it'll do, but I'm not set on it. I'll have to get creative with it. Because I was trying to think of what's a natural progression, what's a high-level talent for being, like, a bard. Well, being not just the guy who performs the stuff, but the guy who writes it. So, expect some generalized social skills like tenure, belonging to an institution, maybe some know somebody. And then, I don't know where I'm going to go from there. We're going to do some weird shit. Do the shooters have access to Master of Illusions? Probably, because I think Verse is one of the Master of Illusion. Yeah, that's in Jester. Okay, I might duplicate that just to be careful, because illusion stuff. But we'll have some fun with them. But for me, I'm actually kind of excited. It's even though they're at the bottom of the tree, the Shaman and Wizard bonus classes, I'm gonna have a lot of fun designing. I think I have a lot of fun ideas in mind for going a little. They're, I think, really the classes combined with maybe a couple of the examples from like Monk or Priest, which is like, no, these are the definitely ideas for specializations I'm gonna get really weird with. So yeah. And I did change it was like spell shooter or shot spell or whatever. I just made it Hex Slinger.
Oh.
Now it's Hex Slinger. They will be the do you like guns and magic class. And probably I'm going to tell you now, probably about the one entire side of that talent tree is going to be the dual wielding ranged talents that don't fit into any other spec.
Okay.
So you can get like they'll probably get the improved quick draw to literally draw 2 guns at once, and get the stuff like Spitfire, which lets you target multiple groups with your attack, stuff like that, while also mixing in interesting synergy with ranged spell stuff. Necromancer will do necromancy, and Red Hat's going to be interesting because that's supposed to be Red Mage, so that's going to probably blend in some different synergistic arcane stuffs, open up some new talents, and I'm hoping to plan to put some double casting action in there. And the Shaman ones, which I will work on next, though, are Medium, Warlock, and Witch. So Medium is ghost stuff. Warlock is actually going to be one of the only classes that is straight up. They're not even primal casters. They are demonology casters, kind of like D&D Warlock style. Like, no, you are calling on Eldritch powers for this, buddy, pal.
Chief.
And then Witch is going to be interesting because that's gonna kind of blend in like healing and herbalism type support with some other interesting features. Because there's like the Night Sister talent tree that does some weird stuff in Star Wars that I want to borrow some talents from. Like witches will be able to take familiars, which will be an animal companion upgrade that boosts your spell casting, while also having even more ranks of animal companion. It's really weird. I don't know why I kind of understand why, because mechanically it's very good, but animal companion is a ranked talent that's tier 3, so it's like minimum 15 EXP, and you have to have 2 preceding talents. So it's a lot of classes that have like 2 ranks in it, plus some modifiers, so I wanted to kind of spread them out so that lots of different people can get animal companions. So that'll be fun stuff. Gosh, I just suddenly realized I'm super hungry.
Oh, he's super hungry.
Yeah, well, we've been going for over 3 hours.
Yeah, you've been talking most of this, man.
Well, yeah, like I said, you want to ask me stuff about it, and you got me started talking about magic, and then I kind of rolled through some stuff. Do you have any further GenSekai stuff to talk about?
No, honestly, I should probably actually write down my questions and not ask them throughout the week, and just be like, ask them.
Oh, just do a big show stuff? We can do that.
Yeah. Because I do ask about stuff like items and things we can do, like structures and all that stuff. But by the time we usually get to the show, I'm like, no, I've already asked my questions. It's like, oh,
yeah, you've asked your questions, and then it's just like, okay, what work did I do on the questions you asked, kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that was a thing you did ask me about magic items and tools and stuff. So I was like, let's make a tool. We can make a tool that does all the tools.
I really want a tool that does all the tools because, like, again, I approach all my talking about like character interactions. I approach all my problems in game right now from the perspective of my character. And so I'm like, all right, what do I want? Because I was having a field day with actual gear, finding like, okay, so if I have to like make my weapon, like, what do I want to do? Like, I'm a pork, so I like great axes. I'm like, all right, cool. What would be something that's awesome to have a great axe made out of? Fucking mithril,
which you can probably find because mithril is the material the dwarves like. The dwarfs.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. So what did mithril do? I think it reduced its encumbrance by 1 and its crit rating by 1.
Yes.
And then I was like, all right, cool. Okay, that's nothing too fancy. A mithril great axe, maybe like one-headed, just a one-headed great axe. That'd be fun. And then I was like, all right, mods. Let's see here. Razor Edge, also -1 crit range. So this will be damage a lot, crit range 1, and I still have as a point. I'm just like superior. I'm like, yes.
Yes. The axe of dismembering.
Yes,
because it will literally crit every time. Which I'm one that's probably going to be a little bit expensive and a little bit rolly to get to, but also I'm okay with that kind of stuff. And I'm assuming it's somewhat balanced, but there's a lot of crit rating 2 weapons in the fantasy splat, so we're just going to go with it and see if it works. Like a lot of bladed weapons are just crit 2.
Wow. Yeah, no, the great axe was crit 3, but I just it's like with the material and the mod, it's like nope, down to crit 1.
Yes, but the fact that you can slap a material modifier on there and you have 2 hard points, because a lot of the big 2-handed weapons have 2 hard points. You can actually get some serious action in there. That's kind of the balance. I think they've done a lot to make hard points really like the game is less jebby with what you can spend hard points on. Like I think are there any armor mods that are like 2 hard points?
I don't think there's anything that's 2 hard points.
Yeah, I think they've completely done away with that for Genesis, that's the thing we've bitched and moaned about in Star Wars,
or
right?
0. Yeah.
Is the fact that you can have armor mods that take like 2 or 3 hard points. Holy shit. Fuck. But everything to counterbalance this, most things in Genesis just have less hard points. Like, most things are just 1 or maybe 2.
Yeah.
Which is why I like the material system, because that lets you kind of have a mod without having a mod, and some of the materials literally reduce your hard points as well. So you gotta be careful.
I think doesn't orichalcum do that or adamant? One's one of them.
I can check. I'm in the weapon section. Adamant.
Yeah, but I was doing a lot of looking at gear, and I was like, all right, what do I want? All right, I decided I'm gonna be a crossbow. I'm gonna be a crossbowman. Because crossbows are cool.
orichalcum reduces the hard points by 1 to a minimum of 0.
So, I'm like, alright, so I'm gonna want me a dragon bone crossbow. Why? Because it's cool.
Yeah, and you actually asked, do these materials apply to ranged weapons? So like, yeah, no. It's the same. It's the same thing with fantasy shit. Like, Fire Emblem has, like, silver bows and steel bows. Skyrim has you make all the bows out of the material, Yeah.
So again, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I usually ask my questions throughout the week. And then I'm just like, oh yeah. I asked if I could slap a holy symbol on a shield, and you were like,
I was like, okay, so technically for the classic fantasy RPG trope, no. But on the other hand, I do like the idea of shields emblazoned with holy symbols, so I made that a mod. I just made it a mod. It's still got some finickiness to it, but because like for instance, you cannot get any of your magic because magic implements can have materials too. They have completely separate material chart, so you cannot add any material to your holy shield mod, but you do basically get a whole your shield is now treated as a holy icon, and it also get another thing I added. It adds a blue die to fear checks.
Yep.
Because it's covered in relics and shit. You still take some black dice if you don't have the right talents because you're holding a shield in your offhand, and that's a little awkward for like somatic components.
Yes, you need battle casting for that.
Because I've joked about how somatic components can be like. They can be like full-blown like ritual dancing and shit.
Oh yeah.
So you got to be able to move. Cuz it's only black dice, But they there are black dice for like not having a free hand. It's 2 black dice if you cannot speak or otherwise silenced or drowning or something. And then if you're wielding a shield, wearing heavy armor, or doing anything that restricts your movement, basically, you take a black die. But it's only a couple setback dice, so it's not a huge deal. And honestly, otherwise, there's not a lot of ways to get extra black dice on magic checks, other than just generic disorientation. And like I said, I've got a couple talents that do it, like the warding talent added in some of the bonus ones lets you basically spend a story point to basically give yourself magic defense, give yourself extra black dice when targeted by magic, and like I said, that silencing effect that mimes will probably do.
But yeah, like another item that I was super interested in is the all-purpose farming tool. Because, like, again, approaching it from Porter's point of view, he is a man of many earthy gods who do work in woods, underground, on the earth, in the fields. And I'm like, I would like to carry all these tools, but Jesus fucking Christ, my encumbrance says no.
Yeah, there is a section on tools as weapons, because I want you to be able to do some peasant shit, and also you might actually... One, it lets me add rules to gear without actually... Like, the pickaxe didn't go in the gear section, it went on the weapon table, but it still does, if you're digging, it gives you bonuses. But also, you can totally just try and murder a dude with a pickaxe.
Don't say murder plot.
Or, scythes, camperters, hammers, but like I said, those are all full-blown weapons, so... They're like, let me actually look at the table. They're probably
if you hit my jack with your fucking chariot, I'm gonna be super upset for a variety of reasons.
I think she did that to me in my own run. Luckily, Jack had evade up that turn, but still.
No, I didn't. She did the self charge. I'm like, fuck.
No, I said for me. Oh. But Maeve totally did that to me once.
I think we're stuck on a white screen. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so all of them are like
grab
encumbrance
Nero.
2, encumbrance
Nero
2,
will be okay
encumbrance
with
2,
this.
encumbrance 2, scythe, encumbrance 3, because it's a fucking polearm.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them have stuff like, they have, like, default, they're, like, inaccurate and inferior.
They grab Nero. Well, they're about to have a good time.
But so you were like, yeah, I want to be able to use all the tools, but I don't want to keep them all. And I was like, okay, I'll think of this, I'll think on this. Can I come up with a fantasy name for, like, a tool that does all the tools? And we came up with some names.
I think my decided for the staff of many tools.
Yes. I decided for the short version to just go with Iot. Because I said in Minecraft mods, I usually see this as all-in-one tool.
Mm-hmm.
But I came up with some other dumb names. The Staff of Many Tools, like he suggested. The Rod of Power Tool, because power tools. The Tool of the Leatherman. The Deccan Blacker.
I love these names.
All kinds of other names. So basically, it's another one of those things that, like, okay, outsiders are trying to replicate stuff in their own world. Multi-tools are a thing that exists to us now, but you can't really pull it off in a medieval setting. How do you do this? Magic. So the Aeon is a magical tool that becomes any tool. Basically, if you spend maneuver, you can make it count as the right tool to job for any skill check, and also it can become any of the tools and weapons profiles, but it stays E1 for everything, because it's magic, and it folds up, and it always has the reinforced quality, because they're magic tools, they don't break.
Yep. So something I definitely want. Yes, okay, I got the summon ticket. Loki realizes he's not been doing his farming quite as well, and he's trying to get at least some of the big stuff before things go down.
Well, and the Maeve CQ is good because you get a rare prism and a summon ticket. I have 6 tickets for Monday night.
I'm not sure if Loki wants to save his streams. His Leatherman. Like Leatherman tools.
Yeah.
Actually, how many tickets am I at? What is Loki's current savings here? He has 234 quartz and 37 tickets.
I think I mentioned. I don't know if I don't know if I mentioned on mic. That might have been a different thing. But I talked about, like, in goods and services, I came up with a catch-all field for consumer goods and luxury goods, because I was like, one, I was thinking to myself, this is a future me problem. Lucky's going to ask how much it costs to buy ingredients for food, and I'm not going to have an answer unless I come up with it now. But also, I was also thinking to myself, because I was thinking about, do we need to add a fucking entry for, like, pen and paper? Because that's actually a thing I, as a player, always think about, because if I was an adventurer, I would constantly be writing shit down, taking notes. I take notes in real life sometimes. So it's like, or thinking about how do you always have scratch paper? Like, okay, how do I handle this? Do I need to make this an item? I'm like, no, fuck it. I have a table for goods and services. I will literally put consumer goods and luxury goods. If you want, like, any generic clothing or materials for crafting, or like whatever. Maybe not full-blown materials for crafting, because that's probably hard of the balancing. But you know what I mean? Like,
those are drops.
You want to get raw materials. You want to, like, work out stuff. things for cooking, materials for a craft. So if you want to like make some basic stuff. I said that completely backwards. It's the hunger. It's getting to me. It's like 10 p.m. and I haven't had dinner yet. The show has gone long. But that's okay. We like it. We like it that way. I just still don't know what the fuck I'm gonna call it. It's something about ghosts. I already did Ghost of Gacha though, I think. But so it's like
Destroy All Samurai.
I could do Destroy All Samurai. But that gives you all the basic things for like, okay, you're in a town, you were a fool and you didn't write, you had like pen and ink on you, or you're like, shit, I need to just buy some random fluff stuff. What do I do? Here you go. It costs you 1 to 5 GP, and it's rarity 1. And then luxury goods is 10 times. It's 10 to 50 gold pieces GP, which again, some people have talked about that. The GP economy isn't. It's more like console RPGs than like straight up D&D. Like the loot first talent literally lets you get minimum 100 gold for spending advantage. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit different, but it's still. 50 GP for luxury goods is a little expensive. And that's like, you want to get like fine silks, precious gems, other weird upper class stuff, fine clothing, expensive cuts of meats, herbs and spices. And I noted adventurers usually go for this kind of thing and they can afford it because I understand the mind of the adventurer. Especially if you're isekai adventurers, you'd be like, no dude, I want to have some good food. I don't want to eat dungeon rations again. And because there were questions about like hirelings and professional services that were already in there, tavern meals, foods, healers, and you actually talked about this because you said that Porter does work as a traveling healer. He probably charges less than the 100 GP for it, and I'm like, probably you would because when a player character is trying to buy a healer, that's like shit. None of us have medicine as a skill or magic healers, or a magic healer is all tapped out for the day, and we need a generic fix anything like. Recover strain, wounds, critical injuries, whatever, and also presumably a house call is included. So it's a little expensive, but it's one size fits all. You're buying a healer.
Yes.
You call up a doctor. You're like, I need a doctor right the fuck now, and I need them to fix whatever the problem is. That's when you pay 100 gold a pop to get a healer. But just for like a checkup, it's probably less than that. That would probably go in like professional services and stuff like that. A consult would be that, which is about 5 GP per day. Not a big deal. And also, this lets me calculate what kind of stuff players can get paid for. Ooh, actually, that might go in additional rules. Because there are pay scales. Let me actually put that in there. Adventurer pay scale.
Cool.
Adventurers Guild pay scale.
Are we going to have adventurers ranks? Are we going to have guild cards that have our stats on them?
You definitely have guild membership cards that probably have your stats on them. I don't know if we'll do like a formal ranking system. That would kind of be like duty and stuff. I'll think about it. One of the things I want to do in the allies section is in addition to more fluff on races, more fluff on maybe some of the countries that I missed before that aren't necessarily geological, or geographic, I should say, is also talk about, like, non-governmental organizations. Like, I've thrown out stuff like, in the blah-blah-blah, there's the Fighters College. And, there's a couple of famous magic schools, but, like, actually add some more background fluff into like organizations you can be a part of and how you can like lean on them, because that is a thing that other systems in Genesis, like there are the organization rules in the Keyforge book aren't as robust as I'd like. They're more like, okay, your character has a relationship with their organization, and then here's some sample organizations from the Keyforge setting, and here's what they do, and I'm like, okay, this is a little more setting specific and broad scope than I was thinking. But we'll do some work on that to kind of maybe be like, okay, so you can be like, oh, I'm from a mage collective, from Wizard Tower. I can call on those guys to help me out, kind of thing. Kind of explore some more background fluff, because that's the thing that really seems to have gotten people interested. Besides just the obvious high level, like some of the mechanics, like, ooh, I can play a sneaky cat girl, or a sneaky fox, whatever. I'm joking about this because lots and lots of people have wanted to play Beastman. I think technically our most involved players right now aren't, but I had a lot of people when I brought GenSekai up again because I was working on it that, like Beastman was very popular as the kind of customized class. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people are interested in these background fluff details, so I'm like, sure, we'll do more. I love fluff, and it gives me an opportunity to kind of answer questions and stretch stuff out and keep it orderly. And you like earlier, you also talked about like asking questions about the gear and magic items and stuff, and that's something I think I've said before. The gear stuff is still open-ended. It's not set yet. Like, if anything comes up that, like... And maybe it won't be the end-all, be-all, and maybe I'll have to split out separate books for extra stuff.
Let's see, this is, don't mean to cut you off, but this is why I like your common item and luxury, common goods and luxury goods. And so instead of, like, having to have these giant lists of, like, all the knickknacks, it's like, hey, I'm just gonna buy, like, a thing, and it's like, is it common or is it expensive? And, like, it's common. It's like, there you go.
Yeah, like, okay. I just need a claw hammer. You know, I don't need, like, a big deal carpenter's hammer. I just need a claw hammer. Okay, you can find one of those easy. Or, like, I need a chisel. Or... I don't know. I need some pot paints, so I want to do some painting in my spare time, kind of thing. Okay, fine. Here you go. The only things that are in the gear section are things that are actually like mechanical. Like when you buy construction tools, those are notable because they interact with the construction system, etc.
I wonder if like smoking pipes and caseros and stuff should be their own thing, because that's one of those things that we were talking about earlier. Is because Mage fun fact, weed and alcohol is 2 ways to heal strain, so spellcasters love that shit. So we were talking about like how our characters would smoke things. My character Porter has a kiseru, which is a Japanese smoking pipe. You always see them in the animes, the long pipe that they like puff on, and then they like turn it upside down, whack it on the box, and a hot ember comes out. Yeah, that's a kiseru. And card, I want to say. I'm sorry, I'm horrible at names. Talking about I think they have like a more traditional pipe. I think it is. So like I don't know if you want to like maybe consider like maybe adding like I don't know, maybe that would be just a luxury good. Well, it wouldn't be a good because it's something that's you maybe use often. But what would you even call that? Recreational item?
Well, yeah, maybe. Or I could come up with a different thing because there is obviously the pipe weed entry. We could discuss this, or I could even tuck it in somewhere else. You know. That's the thing to work on. That's the thing to think.
Yeah, do we have... you have musical instruments, I remember, because Dallas didn't take a fucking musical instrument.
Well, yeah, but also musical instruments are... I believe are they in magic implements? Yes, because they are an implement for doing verse magic, so...
Yeah, that's true.
But you can also just buy them as, like, magic shit. Or not magic shit, it's music
like
shit.
Drums.
So we could come up with them...
He might.
I could work on some stuff.
Yeah, like I said, as usual, I'll bust in the chat in like an hour or so, be like, hey, what about this shit?
Yeah,
that's all Lucky do. I haven't passed.
But yeah, like I said earlier, the gear and some of the magic stuff and all the other stuff is still in flux. It's not set yet, even though I wrote it a long time ago, because I'm gonna write down the basics I know I want, and then I'm gonna add new stuff, which I've done. I've added stuff that I've thought of that's like, oh, I like these. I've seen mechanical examples of something else and be like, oh shit, I need to add that. And other stuff has just been like, oh, well, that's just fun. Like, I added a firework, for instance, because I'm just like, adventurers can have fun with fireworks. That'll be fun. I use the stats for Luma flares mostly from Star Wars.
We can throw them as distractions and have our enemies walk over to them, and then press square to assassinate.
Mm-hmm.
It's rainy today. Oh, but yeah. So GenSekai stuff is, I still maintained I am super fucking hype about it. I will continue to vibrate over Omega's shoulder on it.
That's how work gets done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is what I talked about earlier. Like, the just yelling at people, yelling at me to do stuff makes me not want to do it. But Lucky's figured out the way to approach it to be like, well, I'll just sit back and ask inquisitive questions, because that gets me thinking about stuff. And once I start thinking about stuff, I start working on the problem. Okay, I think we need to wind the show down now because I'm getting super hungry.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the Goblin Slayer movie is out on Crunchyroll right now. I haven't watched it yet, but I will at some point.
And yes, Loth, Summer 2 is almost over.
You got 2 hours.
Oh, jeez. Well, I think I put my pin in that anyway. I think I'm done. Got all my stuff.
Oh shit, I get to return to caster node. Thanks.
That's pretty good.
Thanks, Mo.
Riders on the storm. Alright, let's do the outro and stuff. Because we're doing a decent length. Some of that get edited out. There were some awkward pauses in there, and we had some intermissions. Okay, so it's time to do the outro, which means I would like to remind you that if you watch this episode on YouTube, be sure to give this a like if you liked it. You can leave your comments in the comment section down below if you want to. Or you can hit us up on our Discord. Actually, it's not a big deal to bring it up, but Discord recently started introducing some community server features. And I have actually enabled us for community features. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the mod channel will now get updates on new community stuff. There is a mechanical link to the rules channel where we had the rules established, like it actually understands that's where our rules go.
Oh, okay.
And it lets us get a little welcome screen that points people to frequently used channels. So, Lucky, you can check out what I've done. But I've pointed to about 5 channels that comment stuff like News Desk, Let's Talk FGO, Gacha games. I put spoilers in there. Stuff like that. Let people know what are popular channels and what they're about, or if you want to pop in. And just, kind of do some new features and hopefully build some later stuff. And if we want to, we can get more analytics if we need them.
I think I might have to restart Discord because I'm not seeing any of these features.
Interesting. You might need to restart. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
In the server settings though, it's in, and who knows? Maybe only I can see the community tab, but I would hope not because you're also an admin account.
I'm the beta admin.
But it's got you can do server insights, and later you can put yourself on public discovery. But we don't have enough. You need to have over 10,000 members to do that, which is a little big. But I'm sure there are communities that are actually that big.
Operations. Community overs, insights, enable discovery. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's got some fun. It's got some fun stuff. So we are explicitly a community style server, and we're gonna continue to play with these updates, and we can turn them off if it breaks, but it's fun.
Post spoilers in here, or else.
And by the way, we get to add an emote, so I used our server emotes. So spoiler channel has Mashu Gun. And I think I used, because I can freely use the animated ones. I believe I used Jumping Artoria for Let's Take FGO.
Yeah, Saber Yay.
Yeah.
You use Jagmara for FGO.
Yeah. Because I was trying to think what the newsiest setting was, and I figured that was a good one. And I just completely selfishly, but I stuck in trad games there because it let me go up to 5, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck. We've got an emote for that. Okay.
The only one I would have said was anime manga, but no, trad game gets just as much traffic.
Listen, Lucky, let's be real. Neither of us really likes anime manga, but we allow it to exist, because if it didn't exist, people would talk about it other places.
Yeah, that's true. Lucky might have been a little bit of hypocrite and put some people on blast for their opinions. We really shouldn't have.
Yeah, but people, we understand our own rules, and sometimes we bend or break them, and we try not to, and we will apologize for that if we kind of overstep our bounds. But at the same time, there's definitely, I don't know what it is about anime manga, but it gets people spicy. People post spicy opinions, and while we don't want to be down on your spicy opinions, if your opinion is spicy, we will react to the spicy part, right?
Yeah.
So that,
especially if it's especially if it's long-term spiciness. Like, I got spicy because the spicy opinion was going on for 6 hours. I'm just like,
I think anime manga is the only place where people will have fights about certain series, or even not even fights, but dogpile on a series for literally 6 to 8 hours, and they won't shut the fuck up. And I'm just like, guys, I've never seen this series. I don't care. Could you stop, though? I try not to mute any channels long-term on our server. So, I see your notifications pop because I'm part of the moderation team monitoring your actions. Can we not? But usually I do. I follow the Tao of Lucky, and I'm just like, nah, shush, go away. Just leave him alone.
No. Like I said, people have only been talking about the 40K life-size Rim figure for, let's see here, less than an hour. See, that's fine.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah, it's been only going, that topic's only been live for 26 minutes.
No, and that's a good one. That's what it's for. Just, oh, hey, I saw a weird anime figure thing that's really crazy. Which, by the way, that is nuts. A fucking life-size figure.
It's 40K. It's 40 fucking K.
In US dollars, by the way. Actually, that's not a yen conversion. That's actually in US dollars. What the fuck? But that's good. It's when people and people sometimes have positive conversations that are long, and they're like, oh, I watched this series after so long, or I watched this new version of a series, kind of stuff. But some people are just like, man, I fucking hate anime series here. Let me tell you all the ways I hate it. And then it's usually I don't share your opinion, or 3 people I do share your opinion. And that's when we're kind of okay, guys, can we let it die after a while? I understand you have thoughts and feelings, but is this really the avenue to let them out? Anyway, that was all part of the long outro to talk about. Our community is actually great, and we're adding new features, and you should check it out.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. But you asked, why don't we? You kind of asked, would it maybe advertise anime manga? I'm like, I don't want to advertise anime manga. Maybe we have thoughts and feelings on that one, and I don't necessarily want to advertise Art Dump or Hella Not Safe for Work either. But they do exist, and we are allowed to have not safe for work channels.
They are spicy for a different reason.
I could, I suppose, put General, but General's a weird beast too.
Yeah, there actually has, to a side tangent, there has been talk to maybe making a YouTube link channel for YouTube videos and fucking VTuber talks.
Yeah, because the VTuber craze has been exploding a little bit, but it's still kind of small overall on the server. So
it's like our Tokusatsu fan. We have a very dedicated Tokusatsu community.
Yeah. But they fit well into moving pictures, which is about live action stuff. So they settle in there, but they like actually like watch streams and get together. They have a little club. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's okay. I think they might be meeting right now. I don't know. I see like
maybe.
3 or 4 of them over there.
No, I think I dig it. I dig it. I call them Tokusatsu Division.
Yeah, no, they're cool. We like that. They're okay. It's not like there was some concern because we called somebody out about saying something sus earlier, and we're like, no, it's fine. You guys are okay. And they stay in their reigns. But the VTuber thing is like, it's an evolving situation. So I was like, maybe we could do a YouTube like general video channel. We'll see. I don't think we've got enough feedback on it, but if you're part of our Discord and you're listening to this, what's up? Let us know. Let us know your thoughts and feelings. We'll work on some stuff.
Yeah.
You are part of the club, but it's okay. We got multiple people. That's why it's like I said, it's an evolving situation. Anyway, that's our Discord. Check that out. If we haven't scared you off, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you can always get our latest videos. Keep up with what's up, keep up with Let's Talk FGO, keep up with streams and other stuff. And speaking of keeping up with streams and other stuff, even if you're subscribed, considering that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video or when we stream. Sometimes we stream at weird times. Sometimes we post videos at weird times as things demand. So getting notifications and setting them to all is a great way to keep track of us and what we're doing and what we're posting. Okay. And then lastly, of course, it is a new month, and you should consider supporting us on Patreon, like we said at the front of the show. You can get access to this episode in audio format, downloadable, mobile, offline, for as little as $1 a month. And at higher tiers, you can get access to videos early. You can get access to polls and other stuff. Listen to the show live, etc. That's the other big thing. The only other final bit of news is this is What's Up 99. Next week will be What's Up 100. Assuming nothing weird and freaky happens, that means it'll probably be live to public next weekend on Saturday. So stay tuned for that. We'll let you know. We do those live in our Discord, so now's a great time to join and check it out. And that'll be good because usually we did not as much as Let's Talk FGO, but we get a decent turnout for those. So we'll have to think of some stuff to talk about besides Modern Warfare 2, I guess. Or maybe not. Who knows? I feel like I got a lot of people into the Legend of the Five Ring Guns when we did the big public episode for like 50 that happened to also do that.
I guess I can work a little bit on Torchlight and I can shill that.
Okay. And you have been talking about doing that. All right, that's the show. Thanks so much for tuning in. And I would like to double down on the Patreon thing and be like, that's cool because like patrons let us go up to like 512 megabyte episodes, which is why this episode is raw 3 hours and 47 minutes. We give no fucks now. Yeah, I don't know how big an audio we could do with like double the size, but it's pretty goo. So, but no, Amigo literally has to stop because he has to go eat. He's super hungry. All right, I'll check you guys out next week. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.